Wait for it. You're live.
Oh, welcome to Plat VALORANT episode 196. Oh, Kurt kept me on tenterhooks there as to when we were going live, but it just made me more excited. The tension built. Sliggy is looking less pleased with himself. There was a small smirk there, but nothing more. I appreciate the restraint and stoic nature with which you live your life.
Yeah, mate, I enjoyed that. That was actually me being pretty entertained, if you can tell.
Sliggy after 5 years of depression. Sliggy when the best thing in his life has ever happened.
It's pretty accurate, yeah.
DV Chobra, thanks for joining us as well. Chobra, what have you been getting up to? I know what these guys have been doing because they've been co-streaming all the time.
Yeah, well, I made the mistake of joining Sliggy for his co-stream for the RRQ match, and now I'm depressed, and it's 2 a.m., and we have to do these rankings, and I'm not feeling great about it, so...
You're right. We're doing the tier list later on, and we've just had, like, EDG bombing out of a tournament, and then their managers posted a public apology to all of the Chinese netizens.
Swim home.
The world's largest RRQ fan is on the show trying to boost up their rankings, but they've just lost, so...
Oh, you know that never stopped me. It's not about the results.
True, yeah.
It's about the journey to get there.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So we are doing the tier list later on. It's a way too early tier list. Last year we had Bren, Avast, and then was it Bala and Sliggy, or am I getting it wrong?
No, I think that's right. It was definitely a Vast. It was definitely me.
Wyatt, maybe?
It could
Oh
have
yeah,
been
Wyatt. I think was
Wyatt
on the
was
show
on it.
actually, not
That's
Bala.
That's the
Yeah.
only way Zeta made it that high, so...
Yeah, he was really high up on Zeta being yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, guaranteed, I promise you A tier, it's going to be like the best they've looked. That did not end well at all.
We'll see
Probably
how much
the worst they've ever looked.
Yeah, we'll see how much trauma gets like passed on from last year's episode to this one. You know, which organizations we've just given up hope with, despite the fact that they actually look fairly decent on paper. We're also going to be recapping the Red Bull home ground as well, but of course we have our member question, and this is a sponsored episode once more, thanks to the people over at Manscaped. So appreciate that. If you want to support the show, go and check them out at manscaped.com. You can use the code VALOCHAT20 for 20% off, and then you get free shipping as well on top of that. And let me tell you what product they're looking for us to sell to you all today. It's the Chairman Pro. It's not for your balls, it's for your face. And you want to make sure that you've got one for the balls and one for the face, I suppose, because otherwise you'll end up getting mixed up all over the shop, won't you? So this is the Chairman Pro. So normally they specialize in, I think they call it below the waistline grooming, which is a really nice way of saying chopping the hair off your balls without you having to get scissors down there and messing something up potentially, because your femoral artery is kind of close by and you don't really want blades down there that aren't skin safe, which is what the Manscaped stuff generally specializes in. So it's a waterproof shaver. It's got a lot of flexibility to be able to tackle your face and all of the different pivots and dimples that it has in there. It's got not one but two interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, and they're actually really well made. Also, if you're a lazy bastard like me and you don't shave for like 5 days at a time because you I just don't care about other people and what they see when they look upon my visage. So it'll get rid of this kind of stuff very easily. I'm sure it'd even get rid of my mustache, but I'd quite like to keep that. So if you're interested, if you're looking for gifts as we head towards the holiday season as well, or if you just like their product and you want to support the show because it does genuinely help us as well, then you can use code VALOCHAT20 for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. There we go. TMB, are you clean shaven?
Before. No, I've got... yeah.
Wasn't asking
Like
about your face.
Couple days. But,
Jesus.
oh, well, you already know about that, Josh.
Right, yeah, of course.
But what I was going to say was, just think what could have happened had you accepted that hair growth sponsorship as well. You could have had the new hair be growing in and then use this sponsorship to be like, no, it's gone, and just shave it all off and go back.
The problem with it is, hair transplant surgery, like, puts new follicles in, so I'd have to be shaving them off every time. It would be more effort to be bald.
Think of the money you could have made.
Yeah, but you can't recurrently have a hair transplant sponsors as well. Also, isn't that in some way like a conflicting sponsor with Manscaped? Like, I got a hair transplant and added more hair follicles in. All right, let's move on. Let's talk our member question. All right, if you want to support the show, you can become a member. And you get some exclusive benefits. You get to look at the bonus content. We had a forbidden episode from Champs Istanbul, where Bren smashed stuff everywhere and we ate food and got drunk. But also, you can join our members' Discord and you get to ask us a question every week. Okay, and the one for this week is, I think, a pretty good one, actually. We can take this in a number of different ways. X Simons said, I've paid 5 cents to be here so I can ask this question. Don't know where they got such a great deal on the membership. What's a player that was around at the beginning of the game who then vanished from the scene that you would like to see make a comeback? Depends what you define as the beginning of the game, but are there any names that spring to mind?
Oh, I've got one. I've definitely got one. I would say.
Does he have a very accusable cousin?
I think he does. Yeah, I think that's the rumor. Yeah, I mean, honestly, now we've got a lot of lands. I would love to see Nisao come back.
Mm-hmm.
What's his lowest stat? 1.35, I think, across the board ever.
He's a good guy.
Good guy. Very good at the game. Just kind of quit on top, and I think that's a shame. I would have loved to have seen him on LAN.
It's quite nice to go out on top, though.
Well, after 3 months of playing the game, I guess. Yeah.
Any other suggestions?
Is it fair to say tens now?
No, it's not fair to say
what?
tens.
He's gone. He was at the start of the game. Read the question.
True. Bro's been
Tens.
out for 2 months.
Yeah, give me tens back.
Insane. Have your YouTube views been going down since Tens left and you started ragging on
No,
Sentinel
honestly,
still?
I mean, look, that's the thing. Tens content. There you go. Content for us all. Imagine tens comeback on the bottom of the little Plat chat thing.
It's not a comeback either. It's barely left.
No, but yeah, imagine if he did come back.
He
That's
was
what
out with
Kurt
an-
would be putting at the little banner, wouldn't he?
He was
Tens
out with
is
an
back.
illness more in 2023 than he's been retired at the moment. He can't have a comeback yet. It doesn't make sense.
Wow.
Jobra, you must
Well,
have
that's my
somebody
answer.
for us.
I don't know if he counts necessarily as like the early days, but I would say Zunba from the old
Okay.
Q. Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, I would hope that that's likely. So I'm just putting that out there.
All right, I want to spin this a slightly different way as well, right? Which is that I made a list of a bunch of the tier 1 players that weren't in the league this year, that aren't in the tier 1 level. There's so many names, honestly. Even if you're just going through the biggest names, like I tried to rank them roughly from like top to bottom, but you have Crashies and Victor, obviously, and then you have CNED, Ardis, Lakia, Scary, Saya Player. Some people who've like made the move to retire themselves, like Nuki and Sender, though maybe they would have ended up being shifted out of their EMEA teams anyway. Shin, who was on the Carmen Core for a while, who saw the light at the end of the tunnel and has now been plunged back into darkness.
Yeah.
Oh,
Scream would have been good. Dude, Scream of Phoenix right now?
Yeah, the current meta.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Dude, I really would like to see Scream make a comeback. When it was rumored that Scream was doing like a trial for Genomates, I thought that would be amazing. I really had no problems with Scream as like a top level duelist player. He just should never have IGL'd.
Yeah.
But like as a duelist, oh, he's great.
Him coming back as like a full duelist arc would be good. It's such a
ISO
good
as
meta
well.
for
I
him.
mean, ISO
Yeah.
Phoenix, just send it.
Yeah, he actually would be farming. All right. Okay, well, now that we've pined for the fjords.
Wardell.
Well,
Yeah.
That's a good show.
Well, Zoms, of course. Of course. I just went through the unban requests on my stream, and a guy got permabanned for being like, "Where's Zoms? Zoms is my favorite player. I love Zoms."
in what, 2024?
Yeah, in like 2024. Yeah, he got permabanned from a chat for being annoying. Basically, I unbanned him and told him to pick a different player to stan. It's kind of embarrassing. Should we talk about the T1 winning the Red Bull home ground? Let's talk Red Bull home ground in general. I thought it was a cool little tournament. It was a nice format, some good showcase of a range of different teams, and you know, you got a big blend of a bunch of teams from different regions too.
Yeah, I was impressed with a lot of teams and kind of upset with a lot of teams as well. I feel like there's a few teams that maybe I had like higher expectations coming in, but it's also just off season, so I'm not like crazy worried for them.
All right, wait there. Let me pause you there.
Okay.
Which team disappointed you the most?
I mean, Fnatic definitely disappoints me
Okay.
because I'm pretty high up on Sayonara as well, and he had a bit of a stinker. So that was when I was just like, and like I don't know, it just didn't look great from them in just a lot of aspects. So that was like a little bit worrying. I kind of thought they were going to have some new stuff. I thought like off season, maybe they've been cooking a little bit. I thought they've been practicing a good amount. So I guess I had higher hopes for how much they actually performed. And then Kayak still seems to have like this LAN jitter thing where I feel like every time if you looked at his online performance to his LAN performance, it's not great side by side. It's not at the same level. So hopefully this was like good experience for him. But they had a stand-in, so I guess it's like it's a little bit of an excuse, but it still wasn't great, really.
Yeah. TMV, I know that you made a 10-minute maximizing the YouTube ad revenue video about Fnatic as well and
What are
their
you talking about?
performance. I watched
Actually,
it.
That was longer than that, surely. It was like 12.
Maybe.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm not exactly
Give
sure,
me some
but
fucking credit.
listen, we're all playing the game.
Yeah,
But I think if we let's start with them. I know that we've gone off in a bit of a tangent. I interrupted Sliggy just, and we've now gone on a bit of a tirade against Fnatic. But let's talk Fnatic for a sec, because it genuinely is. It's mad interesting talking about this team because they do have huge expectations, even after Dirk has gone kayaks in. Like with Leo or Sayonara, I agree that they have high expectations, much higher than they showcased here. What do you put it down to, TMV? I know that you illustrated a lot of the issues, but what do you think the reasoning is behind some of these big issues?
Well, I mean, we obviously don't know exactly how much work they've been putting in, during this time. Like, maybe, they haven't been practicing that much. But that's what it looked like. It looked like a team that kind of like, and that's maybe what's concerning, because obviously you still have, even with, adding Kayak and you were playing with the sub, you still got 3 players there who are, probably some of the most experienced, like, high-level players, that have been around for a long time. You would still expect those guys to be, like, kind of on it, but, like, some of the mistakes that they were making were, like mind-bogglingly bad. And I think what happens sometimes, and like, with Boaster in particular, is, and maybe this is the sub and the Kayak thing, is I think sometimes he gets in this space of, like, micromanaging everything, like, not focusing much on himself, like, just kind of, we saw that, like, at Iceland when, they had to have multiple subs as well, and that tournament went awful for them. But I do wonder if maybe they just, like, anytime they don't have kind of a solidified 5, maybe they're just shit because, you've got players who don't fully know what they're doing, and then Boaster's performance also struggles because he's trying to micromanage everyone as well. But yeah, like, this map of Bayern in particular was, like, very concerning. Like, this is one of the worst maps they've played in some time, right? They other than the 13-0 versus FPX, like, way back in the day, like, you're gonna struggle to find many Fnatic performances that are worse than this map, because it's like, it wasn't even like G2 were playing a flawless game where you just say, oh fuck, we just got beat by a good team playing really well. Like, G2 were making some mistakes as well and giving Fnatic the first kill a lot of the time, and then I just never have seen someone, and Kayak's playing Gecko as well, and, like, they just refuse to plant the spike. G2 were putting their orb on A, right? Like, on the default plant, right? So they would have a Brim Smoke go down, and then the Brim Smoke would fade, and then the orb would come up from Viper, and then, by that time, maybe they'd do another Brim Smoke. And Fnatic would just stare at that smoke that was on kind of where the default plant was, and be like, what the fuck is this? And be like, they looked like they'd never seen it before. It was the most outrageous thing that possibly could happen. And then the time would just disappear, and they'd have no time to plant, and then just lose the round. Like, it was just mind-boggling, some of these rounds.
I have a hypothesis about it as well. And Kurt, to bring up a round that TMV's talking about, can we go to round 5 of that same map that you were just showcasing? And it starts at, like, the 45-second mark, something like that, 40-second mark, something around there.
They're, like, on site, but don't.
Yeah, they're on site. And here's my hypothesis. The hypothesis goes a bit like this. We know that Durka was getting very active in comms. The more and more experience he's got, he is a player that's very vocal, who likes to lead from the front occasionally, who's doing some, like, mid-rounding, but where it's like decisive action needs to be taken, and he'll call for it. He'll call for how he wants to play defensively and how to throw utility for him and that kind of stuff. And here's a scenario here with, like, 30 seconds left where they need to coordinate a push into backside to create space for a plant to go down. So they seize, they flash, and then only Chronicle swings. Alfier's late to jump up to the top. It seems like a call that wasn't made from Alpha yet. Because if it was a call made from Alpha yet, Alpha would be going with the flash and would be trying to capitalize upon it. It sounds like someone was kind of dragging Alphier along because someone else on the team knows that this is what they're supposed to be doing, but the guy at the front doesn't have the experience to be able to lead them like that. And if you think about Boaster's micromanaging, Boaster's, like, sat in the backlines in cave trying to fend off a push during that fight. Like, Boaster can't do that. He can't tell from the minimap exactly what the scene on the ground is. So my hypothesis is that they've actually lost quite a lot with this removal of Durka, that maybe they didn't realize they were losing at the time, or maybe somebody in management wanted to make the change and didn't realize how much it would affect the team on the ground. But my theory is that they have lost a lot of that leadership from the front of the pack that Boaster can't really provide because of his role and what he does within the team. And I think if you had Alpha and you gave him a year in that position, maybe he could get there. But I think it's going to be very difficult unless Kayak is their full-time duelist and steps up doing a lot of that. And on multiple maps, it looks like they're not even going to be running him as duelist.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think if it's kind of weird when you look at it here, but and again, it's off season, so like it might all change, especially with the new patches and stuff. But if you were gonna wanna transition Alpha to duelist, which again is like super viable, the guy's really really good, wouldn't you have just got someone different
else,
to
yeah.
Kayak? Like
Yeah.
instead of picking up like a mechanically good guy, but then going, oh, you gotta learn all of
Yeah,
this.
Like Sugetsu on Sentinel or something.
Yeah. So again, they could like fix it and they could lean into like double duelist. I think that might become a little bit more viable with like the actual buffs of some of the agents. But in terms of like this map and what we have been given, it's definitely a big worry, and it just kind of it didn't make much sense. I will say this was the game where Leaf was just constantly pushing like down towards
Yes.
the long. But yeah, Leaf owned them here.
He played
Like,
amazing.
yeah, Leaf was playing so good here. So yeah, definitely some worries for Fnatic in terms of that, but I don't know. It's off season, so it's like I'm not crazy concerned, and hopefully everything gets fixed when Leo comes back. But yeah, Leaf was a beast here. G2 looked pretty good. There's some good teams at this event, to be fair.
Should we transition into talking G2 then? Because I think they're a really interesting team. Sky's almost the limit for this squad. Since they've signed Jorgumo, people expect a huge amount from them. They beat Fnatic 2-0, and then they lose to Cloud9 2-0. And this is the result. Out of all of the results in the tournament, this is by far the most unexpected, I think. Because Cloud9, in the off-season event earlier, the Sen City Classic, they lost every game. Not that they were playing bad Valorant necessarily, but they did just, lose by a small margin every time. And here they destroyed G2. And this is one of those matchups that I don't think anyone would have put money on Cloud9 winning this, even just based on roster stuff. When we talk about them in the tier list later, we might well be putting G2 still well above Cloud9. But the result on the day was that Cloud9 drubbed them. So what happened here?
Rossi.
Yeah,
Rossi came from out of nowhere 1 year in APAC and he's turned into an absolute god. Like, dude, he was insane. Like, his aiming was good, his calling was good, but literally, like, if you look at the numbers he's dropping, IGLs should not be dropping this kind of numbers. Like he's just popping off. And then it was Sunset that he had 26-7. Like, like what are you actually meant to do when someone's going like this? And even Oxy was like having a good game as well. So it's not like it was just him as well. It's just when these two start fragging, it looks scary. And G2 had some cool stuff. They were just definitely trying some like new stuff out. They had like a sick little default on Sunset where like they breached damage over towards where you close the door, and then because it's like half a second before you can close the door, or like a second, so you kind of choose into like pushing forward or pushing back, but then the neon would slide and like capitalize on you being there. Like, they had some cool stuff.
Moose was taking about 70 damage every time he tried.
Yeah, no, they were literally going to shut the door, and he's just like, oh, what the hell do I do here? I've got to run back and just tank the damage. So they definitely had some cool stuff. I just think they got completely outclassed on the day. I didn't even think they were playing like that badly, but when I was just looking at Angels, Rossi literally was taking 2 or 3 down every single time, and then Oxy had a good performance as well.
Yeah,
and that's the thing with Cloud9, actually, that if you think about like them going forward, obviously last year it was just kind of like Oxy, but if they can, I think this is what everyone wanted for Cloud9, right? If they could just add like someone else who can, like, if Oxy's having a quieter map or whatever, to just go, fuck it, here we go, here's a 30 bomb from me instead, like, just every so often, that would be huge for them, right? Because it's going to turn maps that maybe they would have lost last year into maps that then they win. And Rossi, like, throughout this tournament, Rossi, like, in clutches and stuff as well, it was like, put Rossi in a 1v3 and you feel like, ooh, this is 50-50.
Yeah, no, dude, he had mad impact. You're right. He was like, I think at the one point I was saying, he's good for a clutch at half, and it was like not like 1-on-1s, like 1v2s, 1v3s. So yeah, he just took over. I was impressed with C9. I saw that people, like, obviously people kind of flame him a little bit because like off season they always come second and stuff. But this gave me like a lot of hope. Like, really, because they're like the upset team, right? No one really expects them to get top 4 in America. So let's be fully honest. But if they kind of have these games, like TMV was saying, like where Rossi steps up or like steps up, then I don't know. They're gonna get more upsets than they've ever had.
One of the things that I was noticing with Cloud9 a lot was that when there were two maps, I think, where Rossi's calling, his IGLing, won them the game. And one was their Abyss against Fnatic, which basically Rossi just put a huge emphasis on attacking through mid at the beginning of the half, and then drew all of Fnatic to mid, and then just started running pops onto sites. And it just absolutely boomed Boaster. He had no idea he couldn't adapt quickly enough to figure out that Rossi had already made the adjustment ahead of him. And it's not anything, I don't mean this as an insult, but it's not that complicated. And, C9 playing against Fnatic. And it's not anything super complicated, but it worked really well. And especially because Cloud9 have added all of these set play layers into their game as well. They have a round where Vic TPs into spawn and then paranoias for a B split, these kind of things as well. They're able to recover a massive deficit and run away with a 10-2 half. And the other one was the map that we were just watching a highlight from, which was their game against G2 on Pearl. And I thought, if you look at round 1 and round 3 of their game against Pearl, I think I don't know whether this was an anti, because I don't remember seeing G2 play Pearl at any point recently. I don't think they have. But maybe it was something from scrims, or maybe it was just something that they knew that G2 were likely to do. But they were doing this fake play over towards A. So they throw the knife over towards A main at the beginning of the round, and then they go and show on B. So you know that knife was a fake over towards A main. G2 start pushing out over towards A. There's two players just waiting there, ready for them. They did the same thing in round 3, where they created a bunch of pressure over towards A, showed themselves on B, waited for Trent to get close to drone, and then they just ran onto Trent with Oxy. And, if you're close droning, what are you possibly going to do against a Neon? So they won the pistol round and the bonus based off some really nice ideas of how to abuse G2's re-clearing A main strat, which in itself is not a bad idea. It's not like G2 were playing badly there. They're doing something that generally against most teams would be a very good protocol, and Cloud9 punish them for it. These are the kind of things that I felt like, holy shit, this is an evolution of Cloud9's style, because normally it's just, let's just kind of wing it and send it, or incorporate some set strats in there, but you normally don't see these intelligent pauses and punishing the other team for overstepping.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really good sign for them going forward. It gives them just that extra layer, and they're dude, Abyss was mental this whole tournament. Did you notice this? How just B, if people have a KO, B is impossible to hold. As soon as that knife goes in over towards Abyss, I'm just watching everyone try and retake over towards B, and no one can hold B site, and it's no one had an answer for it, because it was 9-3, right? When they were playing Fnatic, they lost 9-3, and then I was like, oh, this is so dumb. But then
Super
they just have
attack,
they have a sick attack off. But they're very decisive in the calling, like what you were saying, Sideshow. They even just do they had little fakes like this as well, where if you looked at Abyss, they would just do fake A pressure into insta group over towards B hits, just to try and pull the rotate out. And then sometimes they would leave someone there to kill whatever re-clear there is. So it was just really nice, and they just showed that I think they had a lot of depth to their attacks, especially. So.
And that's Rossi calling that whilst also dropping 30s in games.
Yeah,
so that's
the thing
incredible.
is I think it was very clear for anyone who followed Rossi closely on T1, regardless of T1's I guess tragedy this year and their messiness, he was always very vocal, and I think, for better or worse, he was always very, very clear in his mind of what he wanted to do. If you watch some of their voice comms or how he talks about the game with his teammates and things like that. So I think probably what we saw was him being able to prove the potential of that. Obviously, like you said, they weren't quite challenged to the next step. So when that happens, how do they adapt? That's, I guess, for another day. But I was kind of excited to see that, because when we heard that he was moving away, I wanted to see him succeed, because it felt like he was such a good part of T1. They just couldn't figure out how to fit the puzzle together. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited for that.
He was probably one of the most consistent, I would say, in T1.
And I think part of that is that I think he had the guts to be all right, the team's getting messy. I'm going to do what I think needs to get done, but not in a way that's always overheating. So maybe it's showing up as the IGO.
I want to know what you think of Carmine Core, Mr.
Oh,
Josh
mate,
Stradger.
don't even begin, man. I'm looking at this tournament and I'm going back through the VODs and I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna skip the Heretics games, the VODs, because their players were ill and then they forfeited afterwards. So I was like, okay, I don't even want to put that info in my brain. It's too much noise over signal. And then I'm like rifling through and I'm like, oh well, maybe I'll skip some of the teams that got destroyed. Oh wait, Carmen Core's one of those teams. Oh no, I had to watch it just to inflict myself with the pain. Now, okay, so one of the things that I'd heard, so there was an interview that Eng did, maybe I'm getting this wrong, where he said that they had gone for Haven because they just wanted more practice on it. Like, it was a map that was looking rough for them, so they wanted to play it. Dude, if you win a single map, you get to play a BO3. Like, make one of them not a map you're shit at, please. Because then you get to actually practice more later on. So it doesn't make any sense that you would go to this map twice. And also, the more I'm watching them, the first time I watched Carmine Corp, when they were playing the show match against Koi, I was looking at them and I was like, okay, this is a rough team. They haven't practiced too much. That's fine. There's definitely some stuff that they need to tighten up between the like trio in the middle of the pack, between Sugetsu, Aves, and Sadak. But I can see that the calling that Sadak is bringing to this team is going to give them like a serious boost. It looked different to last Carmine Corp. What I watched in those 2 games of Haven was like watching old Carmine Corp again. They were running set plays very frequently. They were doing the same kind of stuff over and over again. They were getting antsy and moving too quickly in these scenarios and getting caught in areas that you just wouldn't expect an experienced mid-round player to get caught in. It was very unusual. I couldn't understand it. It's also really odd because Aves looks a little uncomfortable on Breach. Maybe he'll get there, but Sadak is missing so much value compared to a top-level Sova. And I am a bit confused why they started this way around rather than having Sadak be the more like flex role player, which is what he's more commonly done in his career. But if it was to make Aves more comfortable, then I was okay with that, because I think it's fine for Sadak to take a back step and let an up-and-coming player shine. But I'm not sure that Aves really is shining in these spots, and I think one of the reasons is because he feels like he has to play more aggro because they have so many passive players on their team. They only have Martine, who they fucking trebuchet towards the backlines in a lot of these strats, and then Elite is on a lurk. Sugetsu's a very reserved player. He's playing Astra in a lot of these comps, but he's also just not an aggro smokes player. And then you've got Sadak, who's like trying to play aggro sometimes, but he's on Sova. So then who's your second guy who's like up there at the front taking space with Martine? Aves on Breach, it just puts him in an odd spot. Like they are missing their identity at the moment, an identity that they had last year because they had the set plays and you always had Martine narrate holding hands at the front. They don't have that team identity yet, and I think that's a worrying sign because it's not like they have a good thing that they need to iterate on. They actually look like they need to find out what the identity of the team is before they can continue to develop. And you've got like a month really to sort that out. So that's
a lot of words to say that you've lost faith. That's what I'm hearing.
I haven't lost faith. I'm just saying it's a lot of work. Okay, it's. Can Sadak and Eng do it? Yeah, maybe, but it's a lot of work from here. They're not in a good spot 2 months out from the season beginning.
But I mean, or you just ban Haven, and then they could be in a good spot. We've only seen Haven. That's what I do.
Hey, maybe it's a good thing that they only played Haven, so now they know what to permaban.
Yeah, now they know to not do this map. But this is always, like Eng and Gambit. They never used to play this, right? Really, Haven used to be their permaban for a little bit. They would like sometimes have to play it in best of 5. So it's always been like a kind of spot where maybe
that's the truth though. Sliggy, bring back the Reina. Just go back to what worked. Bring Reina in the final.
It probably would look better than this because then you got the second person to send it. To be fair, but in their defense, like show match, their PC was definitely like I was watching Sadak. His PC was like messing up for sure. So I didn't really take the show match into account when they were playing Koi. And this is just double Haven, and you can have a bad map. So, but it is a bad map. I mean, it's just practice. Like it is just practice. But I agree with what you're saying fully. Like you're completely right. If you play one game and you win one game, it's a best of 3. So you could do that.
Yeah, pick one that you're good at, bro.
Yeah. So, but definitely, I mean, if that's what the coaches said, they're not good at Haven. I mean, it got proven right, and we saw that.
Yeah.
So,
Eng's a genius.
just proven to his team, yeah, we are bad at this map. Yeah.
Sadak was like, I'm gonna first pick Haven all the time. Like I have a feeling, even though we're losing in scrims, we're gonna be really, really good at this. Eng's like,
Sure.
Yeah.
See what happens. Yeah, but in terms of like, am I worried? Not really. It's fine. It is just one map at the moment. That's it. It's just one map they're not bad at. Not good at even.
yeah, haven't we only seen them play one other map as well? They played Sunset once.
Yeah, that was it. Was it Sunset?
I think so. I think they only played
Is it
one.
Sunset or yeah.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah, well, you'll still have to wait and see. It's way too early to be making. I mean, that's part of the reson why we're calling it the way
it's
too
way
early.
too
tier list.
early to do a tier list. Surely.
That's why we're
What a
calling
waste
it.
of time.
I did want to loop us back just quickly to touch on G2 again, because this is the first time we're seeing them play with Jorgamo. And we'd had some conversations previously about like how they were going to integrate Jorgamo, what Jorg was going to look like on the team, that kind of stuff. What did you think about the G2 style with Jorg now in there?
He went fucking crazy on some of these maps. Was it the first game where he just went absolutely? Was it against KC? On one of these, yeah, it was against KC. 27-7.
Oh yeah, this one was
in 20 rounds. Yeah, he just went absolutely fucking mental at sometimes. I think they're still. I actually thought Jorg was relatively. I thought he would be more kind of just like, I'm fucking sending this and don't give a shit, and the rest of G2 are all huddling in spawn like, where's he going? But there wasn't as much of that or at least I don't remember feeling that way too much. I thought, he played pretty well, and like we said, I mean, obviously the Cloud9 game, aside from that game where it didn't look great, I mean the rest of the tournament, they were good. I think even the game against T1 on Bind that they lost, still very, very close, and still I thought they easily could have won that game. They lost the last 4 rounds in a row to not win that game. So I think on the whole, I think before this tournament, I would have said G2 are a team that probably should be making international tournaments going fairly deep, and I still think that's where I would still have them in my mind as that kind of team.
Yeah, I agree. They just have that extra guy that can like want to send in a little bit of like unpredictableness, I guess.
Yeah.
Because sometimes he is just a lunatic, and even when you're watching him, you can't work out what he's going to do next. Sometimes you're just like, damn. So I think it's good. I think it's going to suit them well. I think, like, I don't know, like Neon's fun to watch with this team, but I don't think it like suits them, if that makes sense. Like it suits him, but as a whole on the team, I think like a different duelist would actually suit them to be able to play a bit more to how maybe the other 4 are playing. But I still think that we saw a lot of good signs. Jorgamo looked great. I actually thought Trent had a really good event in terms of just like util and a lot of just impact he was having as well. So I'm excited, but I don't know. I like this team leaning heavier. Like this is like the best Viper team, and I think with the Omen nerf as well on some of these other maps, it will look a lot better when they can kind of use a Viper as well and have like Astra Viper.
Jorgamo makes the esports play of the year, so I think you should have faith that we should all have faith that he'll do just fine to bring an extra level to G2. But I agree. I mean, I think right, like even this year, G2 was a team where if you knew about them, you would rate them fairly highly, but it was also kind of hard to convince other people who didn't know as well, like why you should get hyped about the team. Whereas I think Jorgamo maybe brings just a bit more impact, just a bit more frequently. To have that.
The plebs will look at Jorg and be like, oh my god, he's incredible, I want to be a fan. Whereas G2 didn't have any of that last year.
Yeah, that's true.
But part of the reason why G2 didn't have any fans last year was because they played this like super slow attacking style.
In my chat, anytime G2 played, it was just Z.
Did you notice though in this tournament they didn't do that at all?
Yep.
Their attacking style was way higher tempo. Like, I don't mean higher tempo as in Jorgamo's running in. I mean higher tempo like they're not holding for the first 30, 40 seconds of a round. They're not trying to punish the defensive aggression. I think that's actually one of the reasons they lost to Cloud9 was because they were transitioning into executes at like 120 on the clock, 110 on the clock. You would have never seen the old G2 doing that very often, unless they were running a fast play, like right off the rip as a variation of the tempo. Their normal setups were like, we're going to hit with 40 seconds left or something like that. And I don't remember seeing barely any rounds this tournament where they were going for that kind of pace. It felt very different from that perspective.
And I think that's good though, because it's like they're probably something that they're practicing and just want it. Because everyone goes into off seasons trying something different, whether it's like comps, roles, like different pace change, stuff like that. Maybe like no timeouts, etc., so the players can adjust. And so I think them doing this is like, why are you shaking your head? It's a true thing. Paper X were doing it today.
Yeah, I know. It's a Paper X and DRX special.
Yeah, but Termes made a Red Bull home ground winning IGL out of stacks by not calling timeouts last.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's made him and then cut him and then given him to T1 for free. What a genius move!
I'm just saying. I'm just spitting facts. That's all I'm doing.
I would say last point on G2. I think the actual like personality fit of Jorgamo is really good with this team. They look like they're having a lot of fun. Especially like Leaf as well. I feel like him and Jorgamon seem to get on well from what I'm seeing, and Leaf having a lot of freedom is a scary thing.
It really is. I mean, he is a menace. He felt unleashed in this tournament.
He was pushing on defense on both Bind and Haven as well. He's just pushing down C-Long every round.
Yeah. Which teams have we not taken a look at? I mean, obviously there's T1 that we need to take a look at as
Winners.
well.
Yeah.
I think there's also Foot that we haven't really discussed, but let's go on to T1. We can touch on Foot later for you little fetishist, if you would like, TMV. But we can talk T1 to begin. They end up winning the entire event, right? And I want to start with Choba. How confident are you that this is a team that can go into Pacific with this same level of momentum, where they're looking like an extremely strong team that's going to make the international tournaments, that has a chance to, break into top threes, this kind of stuff? Do you think this is the team?
Before I say anything, I just need everyone to know that I am deathly afraid of my own thoughts. Because I caused too much pain and chaos to everybody in the world. And now that I've put that out there, dude, I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm in pain trying to decide what I think about T1, because the roster, when it was announced, looked really exciting, and now it's looking better and better every match they play in the off season. And they win Red Bull home ground. Not everything's perfect, but in a very convincing fashion, everyone's having pop-off moments. And it's like, all of this would indicate, yes, I would expect them to go to internationals and do well, let's just say. But, like, I was excited for T1 last year. I had them,
generational trauma.
Potentially, yeah, I had them doing well last year. And the thing is I don't know, right? Like, once time passes, because from what I've seen so far throughout their careers, what Autumn has proven throughout his teams and what a lot of these players have proven through their teams are actually very different in terms of like style and what they tried to achieve. Now, if they can all bring the best parts together, then great. Then now you have a super team. But over time, who knows? But just bottom line, yes, I'm excited. I've put that out there now, and if T1 blows up, then fine. Everyone can blame me, because apparently I just have some supernatural power out here. But I think they're really exciting.
Yeah, dude. I think if they keep this up as well and they start getting better, I think they can win stuff. Like, I think they're on for a win.
Yeah, I think they're a candidate for a win, and if not, like, consistently high ranking at like every international.
Yeah, dude, they slapped this final. They had 2 out of 8 pistols, and Meteor didn't really have a good game, and that's something that's crazy on this team, because this guy is normally the top fragger who has the most impact, and he had like minimal impact.
C9 got almost a third of their rounds just from winning pistol and
follow-up.
bonus.
Yeah.
Not even bonus, just literally the pistol and then
really,
the anti-eco you get afterwards. They got like 28% of the rounds just from doing that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, in terms of the actual rifle rounds, it kind of felt close when you were watching it, but when you look back on it, T1 were pretty much in control.
You go.
Okay. Well, I also just want to say, just like everyone else has noticed, whoever watched the tournament, is like Stax is fragging again as well, right? And that's something I've always harped on, where I was like, listen, I hated the news when Stax joined T1 because I was like, well, he's gonna have to IGL at some point. Like they say they're not going to, but he's going to become the IGL if he goes to T1. And look, he's now the IGL, and I was always concerned because I felt that impacted him quite a bit on DRX, but he seems a lot more comfortable. And my theory from watching all of their games is that Meteor is a big part of that, is that Meteor helps a lot just because of how he used to play on Gen.G and the confidence maybe he's gained. So whatever the actual reason is Stax now just seems a lot more comfortable being able to navigate the game while playing his own game, which is great because Stax used to be an amazing fragger. So that's also very promising.
Yeah, I mean, the round that you're showing right now will demonstrate everything. He wins a 1v4 at the end of this round, which was ludicrous. But it wasn't the only one he won in the tournament as well.
He was every time on
beasting.
like A site, he was just getting like 3Ks. It's like, okay, he's actually just clutching.
He's always playing unusual agents as well, really. I mean, he's playing the KO here, which is something that we've only really seen from like Foot, to be honest. Like, I guess there were a couple of North American teams that were trying it occasionally, but not a team that's like stuck to it hardcore for a while, apart from Foot that I can think of. And then he was playing Breach on Abyss, and he was getting good value out of that as well. It feels like something that would be a little difficult to get value out of, but the Breach God is back at it.
Crazy 1v4.
It really
Yeah,
is.
no, dude, he was having mad impact the whole time. And I think when you just look at the whole team in general, I think it was a pretty good sign. Like Sylvan played very good. He impressed me a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, I was happy with him.
He wasn't making many mistakes. I feel like Izu still sometimes gives his kill away too easy, and that's something that like worries me a little bit. That's like my main worry. And I think that Buzz has to have an op to take over a game, but I also think that's okay as long as like the team's like aware of that and you can like build game plans around it. So there's a lot of good stuff. There's a few worries, but overall, dude, I'm kind of, I was excited when this team got announced, and now I'm just like, oh, okay, they're actually gonna be contenders to like win Masters.
The pieces fit together real nice as well. If you look at like the kind of what I was talking about with Karmic Corp, like the balance of aggression, Sylvan wants to get stuck in, and honestly, Meteor can as well if you want him to. So Meteor, when he played with Gen.G, was much more about getting stuck in a lot of the site execs and like having the same timing as the rest of his team, rather than being that like late backstab or flank or lurk, something like that. But Meteor's doing more of that, I would say, with this team, where he's controlling the flank or going on a lurk play or something, and sets himself up for extremely good stuff. Anchoring of the sites, Sylvan and Meteor, both incredibly good at anchoring. So they've got very good qualities dispersed across the team to come together and make something that's better than the sum of the parts. I think it's kind of exciting. It feels a bit like
2022 DRX.
It does. It feels more like a DRX roster than a T1 roster, though. That's what I'm thinking. Is it kind of feels more like you're looking at a DRX. I'm like Buzz and Stax, and then you've got a Star Sentinel player, and then you've got two players that are kind of filling in the pieces really, really well. It's not exactly DRX, but it feels a bit like it.
It's a bit more loose, I would say, but I think that's just a result of all of them having different experiences now under their belt, right? Yeah.
They are doing a few of the DRX-esque, like, we have an execute and we do it the same way every single time. So I was watching their Ascent A exec, and they, I think every time apart from twice that they did their Ascent A exec across the whole tournament, they TP'd Sylvan into the Ardis spot. Every single time. And Foot was getting the read on that, just like as they were playing. But if you look at their VODs afterwards, this is, I think, going to be one of the areas that they've got to keep refreshing, right? Sylvan's got to be occasionally moving where he goes or not TPing in with Buzz and mixing that kind of stuff up. They look like they still have the groundings of one of the like classic Korean teams that does a lot of that like drill-based execute style. But as the ERX has found in the past, that can bite you in the ass because you end up becoming too predictable. I like the variation because they were not always going for those kind of big execs. It looked good to me. Let's talk Foot. They played against Pearl. They played against T1. They played Pearl. Maybe we shouldn't mention that map. But yeah, Foot, they finished 3rd or 4th. It seems like a team that we ignore a lot of the time as well, to be honest. But
Because they're just the same team. That's the thing. They are just the same. Like they change players, like they have done this time with CNED. Like they change players. They maybe get like slightly better, but everyone else also gets slightly better. They just kind of stay where they are, and so that you just like they are the most consistent. You know what they are. They are good. They're gonna make internationals. Sometimes they have like a bad map, and it's like, oh, what's going on for? And then they'll come back the next map, and it's like it doesn't matter whatsoever because then they just stomp on the next map because they're just who they are. But they are just good. They'll make internationals, go home after maybe first round of playoffs. Maybe last part of group stage. That's just who they are. That's why people I think just aren't that interested because people want the fucking roller coaster. People want the fucking in the dumps send. We're winning Masters Madrid. They don't want fucking. You're just good.
I mean, Zeus looks good. That's like a great sign.
Yeah, he looks
But
good.
does he look great? Or shit? Does he have the income?
Yeah, this is what I mean.
Is he
looks
going to give me
good.
the roller coaster?
No.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But I think he might fit into the like team a little bit better than maybe like CNED does. I think CNED kind of does a lot of like individual stuff on his own. So I think this is kind of like they're more together. I still prefer this team when they use like weird comps, which is weird. Like I think when they go for these comps, it's just like we're playing a KO instead of a Sova, and we got no like drone initiator, and I'm like, how the hell does this work? And then it actually looks really good.
They're
I'm
very
like, damn.
creative.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think Krax is the best KO player. I think I would just perma put him on it and just make it work because they do make it work when they don't have like the drone or like a Sky or a Fade. Like it somehow looks good, and I think they have the best use of KO. So I mean, I wanted this last year. And I didn't get it, so I'm kind of in the same spot. But now Zeus is here as well, so I just wanted to use KO loads, and yeah.
We saw a lot of Vice across this series where T1 played against Foot. Obviously, Meteor's playing it on Bind, and then I think it was Mr. Fallen, was it, that picked it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, Mr. Fallen picked it up on
actually
Pearl
pretty
as well.
decent.
Yeah, and I actually like the way that both teams were playing it. I think that Meteor was getting
one
good
thing
value.
though. There's one thing that fucking drives me insane.
Here
And
we
it's the
go.
same thing that happened with Gecko as well.
Okay.
People just this flash. Do they realize that it has like a really small fucking cooldown? Like I'm watching people rotate, right? You've used Vice. Let's say you're on bind B. The hit is coming to A. You've put all your stuff on B. They're rotating. Fucking recall that flash, and you can fucking use it for the retake, and they're not, and it's fucking driving me insane. It's the exact same thing that happened with Gecko when Gecko came out, and no one was fucking picking up the utility. They'll get there eventually, I'm sure. The rest of it actually looked pretty good. Vice, I thought, it was like, oh, this is actually, got some legs. It looks pretty decent, but that was just fucking driving my.
Who are the offenders? Because it's not something that I noticed.
It was all of them. All of them are offenders. I mean, Meteor on some of the bind, like, bro, you've got a flash that has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Can't not use it until 30 seconds in the round. There's just no point. And I think one of the problems is you're getting Sentinel players playing Vice.
Yeah.
Right. So you're getting like, Meteor playing Vice, and obviously he's used to being on like Cypher and Killjoy. You just put a turret over there and fucking leave it for the whole round. You don't do anything. So maybe they're just not used to, that's not their style of gameplay. Maybe
what is the cooldown when it's broken?
40, I think. Is it
40? I think, yeah.
Is it
It's
40?
very long once it's broken, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's playing into it. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit because honestly,
Yes,
I
you
haven't noticed it too much as well, TMV. But
Driving me crazy.
was this mostly on the attack side that you're talking about, or like defense rotates?
I mean,
Or like both?
defense when you're rotating. Although, like another thing I don't think they're doing enough of is like the early flashes. Like generally, people are just putting like a flash on the site, and then if someone comes to my site, I flash. They aren't like going like, oh, I could maybe early flash for info, try and pick it up, then try and replace it somewhere.
Because that's the thing where I feel like in theory it works a lot better in practice. That specific aspect that you've just talked about. Because if you throw it and it gets broken, because you can't like place them through walls at the beginning of the round.
Yeah.
If it gets broken, then you just shit out of luck for the site. And you saw how good it was for Meteor defending the B site. If it's not up at the right time to stop a fast hit from coming through, I could see that being a moment where the players are trying to be a bit more cautious about it because it needs to be right time.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to do it every time though, and like they're just not like if you're rotating though, there's no fucking reason not to pick it up, and you can pick it up from all the other way on the map, right? Or is that
global?
Yeah, I believe so. Or it's
sure.
it's very far at the very least.
Very
'cause I remember
far at the
testing
least,
it in
yeah.
game. Yeah, it's different.
I'm always
from,
surprised
like,
at how far
Cypher
you can
and
pick up
stuff.
stuff on Cypher. Cypher, it feels like you can pick up stuff from miles away as well.
Trips you can do miles away, yeah.
He's got like an Inspector Gadget magnetic hands. He just sucks it from all across the
But
map.
in the whole though, it was good. It was better.
In whose hole?
It
Yeah, excuse me?
On the whole.
On the whole.
On the whole.
Gotcha.
On the whole.
Okay, yeah.
In your hole, it was good, Sasha.
I don't want a 15-second flash in there. Yeah. So, any further comments about Foot? So Zeus, an upgrade for CNED.
I think
Final?
very, very similar skill, but I think more likely to play with the team and can be molded more. So I would say yes.
I like the range of agents as well. I felt like when I was watching CNED, he sometimes looked a little uncomfortable when he was playing other stuff. I felt like when I was watching Zeus play Yoru, I was like, yeah, this guy is very at home playing Yoru. So yeah, all right. That's the recap of Red Bull Homeground then. Do you think these results matter for what we're about to do next?
They will probably cloud our vision.
That's true. Yeah, no, I think that is true. Because it's
Should
like
we discard them?
There's so much that's changing. We kind of should discard them, but you should also consider them. It's like a bit of both.
My main question for this is, when are you are we judging this by the end of like champs, or are we judging this like Masters Bangkok?
What are the rules here? Like what are we judging?
I just figured it was overall like expected power level. Like potential.
Yeah.
Potential?
Across the entire
consistent potential. Consistent potential. Let's put it that way.
I think over the whole season, like the season as a... So one of the problems is where someone finishes at the end of the year doesn't mean that was how good they were the whole year, right? If somebody wins champs at the end of the year or whatever, it doesn't mean that they were the best team of the entire year. We frequently have a champs winner that wasn't the best team of the year. So what I tend to think of is like, if you average the whole year out, where would I expect them to be? Frankly, we're thinking too much about this. It's all nonsense.
It's all nonsense. It's going to be shit anyway, so...
Yeah, it's going to be absolute garbage.
Kurt, are you ready for this this dive into idiocy?
What are we doing? S tiers, B tiers, or is it like top should make champs? What have we got for us, Kurt?
Stop thinking.
I
Stop
think
thinking.
The format was just S through F.
Format it however we want, though. Yeah. I see. In some ways, I like the idea of making it, as you've said, Sliggy, like should make champs, shouldn't, etc. But the problem with that is that worse regions, you get like S-tier teams that aren't actually going to be equivalent to... They're not going to be better than the A-tier teams from other regions.
I agree, but we could like click on the S tier and we could write this down. Like should make champs, playoffs, not making playoffs. And then that's 4-4-4.
But then again, we have to put 4 Chinese teams in the S tier.
When people look back, we'll look even worse because we've put like literal labels of what should happen. Whereas if we keep it ambiguous...
Oh yeah, because that stopped people from misinterpreting our rankings.
Where do we put heretics last time? Yeah.
I mean, that we were mad off.
And
crazy
Gen.G.
off.
But
yeah, where were heretics in Gen.G? I'm quite curious about that.
Probably like
very.
Oh yeah,
C.
let's take a look at last year's.
That's where I put Gen.G as well, so I can't talk.
They got slapped in off-season events.
C
tier.
Oh,
the C.
We had them
both of them
in
next to each other.
I mean, listen,
Where's
to be
EDG?
fair,
EDG.
Gen.G looked like they were getting carried by a solo queue warrior at Convergence, all right? So like they weren't exactly that
Gentle Mates in
promising
B
at the offseason.
Is that you, Sliggy?
I'm not putting Genomates in B tier. I knew they were shit. I'll be honest.
Genomates were one of the weirdest teams to rank last year, though, because we had no... Like, they were crap until they won, like, 3 games in a row and ascended, so... Okay,
they were
fair
crap.
enough.
I mean, let's
just leave it ambiguous for the moment, and we can argue about where we want to put things.
Oh, F tier is brutal.
Okay, so are these... Is this really all the teams in the league?
Dude, what's this fast logo? Looks like Half-Life 2.
They changed their AI like spaceman logo into this fucking dog shit.
So what's that?
The first team that we're rating, and Sliggy doesn't know who they are. That's a good way to
Look at
begin.
it. That's not what they qualified with.
No, it's not.
That's crazy.
It is shit, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's awful.
Let's do it like this. Let's actually just go through on the basis of like the order
logo.
in which their logos are, because this is going to be all over the place.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
Gee, where the hell do you rank these guys?
Yeah, what a way to start, man.
They almost feel a little bit like the General Mates-ish, but I think a bit better of last year. Because again, they're a team that didn't actually do the best in their region when they came into Ascension. Then they go into Ascension, they have a very solid run there, an extremely good run there.
And they're losing...
And they're losing Spike until the mid-season as well. And I don't know anything about Gabera. It's a complete blank spot for me.
Yeah, same.
Put him in D.
Yeah, I think D is a good place
D?
to start. Wait, what? Why are you?
It's just harsh immediately. I'm just saying it's just like we don't even have any point of reference, and
We're
we just
off the bat being
That
absolute
is the point of
savages.
reference.
I could have said F. I could have said F.
You could have said F. You were
I'm
gonna
with
go with
TMV
F.
on this.
No, no.
Holy
I was
shit.
gonna say D, and I did.
I was
say
gonna
D,
say a nice
because
C.
they're D. Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
too
think
passive.
F
You're
is-
gonna end up with C teams that you're like, ooh.
Yes.
all right, okay, dude, all right. The
You can always come back
savages have
to
put
it.
them in D
Yeah, we
tier
can always
already.
put Half-Life 2. You don't even know who they are, Sliggy.
Or
And you want to put them in C
change
tier.
their logo to the Half-Life logo. What am I meant to do here? It's not my fault.
All right, crew. If crew
classic.
are pretty
Whack 'em up
decent,
there.
man. They've
We've
got to
got an
be in.
upgrade.
They've got to be in at least B tier, I think, like top B tier minimum. It depends how. I think it depends. Yeah,
Wait, do you think that's low?
No, I just think mid
I'd put
B
mid.
tier is
Whoa,
fair.
guys,
It
guys,
could be mid-bid.
guys.
could be at the end of the day. I'm not sure. It depends
Or
how we
crew
average
could
it
be
out.
one of those teams that like does like the even odd years, and they have one shit year and one good year.
If they
would
go
look
0
at
and
that.
9 again, if
you
these
go.
guys go 0 and 9 again, I'm gonna lose my mind. No, they have.
A.
A.
But
Oh, I'd
just,
say B.
just so you guys know, whenever I do any sort of rating or ranking, like I
Right,
don't
doesn't it?
want 10 teams in S and 10 teams in A. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm coming from. So like,
how
No, I
many-
agree with that.
in an
They should be
ideal
normally
world-
distributed.
How many do you want on S though, Trevor? Is what you're
in
saying.
an ideal world, I
Yeah.
think
Just hierarchy.
Aren't there like, 50,
like-
56 organizations?
yeah, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Anyone's won there.
ideally 3 or 4. I think that's
3 or 4? 3 or 4? That's like one per region or less.
This is Mimi's super
Dude,
team.
S is for special. All right, there can't be 7 to 8 special teams.
That's still
Yeah.
1/8 of the overall amount of teams. I think that's still fairly special. Okay, anyway, I feel like we're going off the deep end. We're discussing
All right,
philosophy. But crew.
I'd say
Okay,
B. I'd go B.
have they actually gotten better this year?
Yeah.
They have Mazzino back, and Mazzino's
Yes.
good, but they've lost Noswa for Adverso, and that is, I think, a downgrade. Adverso's decent,
lost
but
Heat,
he's
no?
he's not Noswa.
It was it's Heat. You mean?
Sorry.
Lost your
Sorry.
fucking
Yeah, no, I have lost my mind. Okay,
Yeah.
Heat. Sorry. But that's also a downgrade. Going from Heat, who was the second biggest fragger on the team, who was actually one of the biggest reasons that they were like 1-2 punching their way through so many teams, to Adverso.
But they got Amazinos in.
Yes, Mazzino mitigates that, I think.
Yeah.
But does it mitigate it enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You think they're going to be better this year? See, I'm not on board with them being better, but I think they're still going to be like top B tier.
Top B guys. You three all think B. Damn.
Yeah. Can have
Okay,
a top
well.
B.
All right, okay.
Going on the record, I wanted to put A.
Oh, this
Well,
one's
maybe
this
we'll
one's
shift them
fucking
later.
gonna
Yeah,
be
well,
tough.
Leviathan.
Fuck me.
Leviathan.
Dude, why is America so bonkers, man?
Demon 1, Natank. You could stop
strange
there.
team.
Who the like?
Yeah, where the
Yeah,
fuck
like
are
what?
they?
Demon 1, Natank, Com, King, and Tex. I'm still struggling to wrap my brain around this team. I really am. When the tank joined, we were talking about how it makes sense for the roles, but the more I think about it, the more I'm still confused about
But what
that
you
stuff.
don't get is that Phoenix is getting a mega buff, and so this is an S tier team. Put him up there.
Well, hold on.
Dude, that's too. Come on. If you're gonna bait, you gotta be a little less obvious.
I said previously that the tank would be the best player on this team. Now that Phoenix has got
yeah,
buff,
he-
it's all fucking coming together. The TMV and the tank master
You're
plan.
a giant Natank believer. That's true. Dude, this is weird. But dude, how's Demon 1 go look? I don't
Right.
even know because it's like, which Demon 1 do we get? Do we get NRG or do we get EG?
We're not going to get NRG Demon 1, I don't think. NRG
Yeah, I think
Demon 1 was a product of that team being dysfunctional as well with their macro. And I don't think
Okay.
that, like, Lev are not... Lev
won't
are
have
not
to play
often,
Raze.
Lev
You
are
won't
not
have to play
often
Raze.
dysfunctional.
Because if you're promising me EG Demon 1, then they're up there.
Did I say that was a promise?
I think that's the words that I was getting, yeah.
Never
Those
at
is
any
good
point did I
ads.
promise that.
Okay.
All
What
right,
are you
if,
promising me?
if Demon 1 was EG Demon 1,
Yeah.
They'd be S tier. They'd have to.
but that's not changing things dramatically to like what you were getting from Aspas last year. That's still
Yeah, so
you're,
then they'd be
you're
S tier.
still
yeah, but why have people got this in the Lev finished third in the champs?
They finished third, but were they the third best team of the entire year? No.
They won.
No,
They were.
but
They
No,
were. But they would have been. They would have been in A tier, I reckon. Maybe
They would
bottom
have
S
been.
tier.
But wait, so you're now subscribing to the Chobra theory of there's only 3 teams in S tier all of a sudden, whereas before, like they would have been in the top 6 or 7, which is what it seems like you want the S tier to be.
No, fair enough. You've convinced me. I think they'd be in the bottom S tier. Yeah,
What?
based on their performance last year.
What? It took him to rant for 3 seconds.
no, because he's right though. That's why. Because he's right.
When you confront the truth, when the truth is bared in front of you, and you stare into the eyes of God, you recognize it for what it is, Cobra. It doesn't take very long. But again, that doesn't mean that they're ever going to be as good as they were last year.
What, you think a safe A?
I think a
Low
safe
A.
A.
I think A is. I'm down for A. I'm down for that.
I'm fine
I
with
feel
a
like
safe
there's
A.
a few too many unknowns, but I could understand a punt for S. Now, Loud. God, there's so many teams I have no idea about. It's crazy.
Oh, dude,
See.
that's going to be so many teams in this. Where
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah,
like,
it's like all-
oh,
yeah.
So-
they picked up tier 2 players and we have no idea what we're talking about.
To recap the roster again, for people who are unfamiliar with it, Dejazine is back as duelist. Vinny is going to be calling, I think, from the flex position, with Cowanzine on initiator, Pancada playing smokes, and then Tui's is transitioning to sentinel. So Tui's has gone from duelist to smokes to senti. Pancada's back playing smokes. Vinny's IGLing, but I think from a different role. I don't believe he was a flex player, but I might be losing my mind again. So, no, he wasn't. He was playing all sorts of different stuff.
Yeah,
He was playing
he's all
flex
over the
role.
place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, where are we putting this squad?
I think the question to ask is, are they better than Crew?
I
would
wouldn't
probably say
feel
no.
confident about it, but they could be.
I'd say no. My guess would be no.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm with you. They could be, but
again, I would feel like it's likely that they're a bit worse.
so does
than
that mean
Crew.
that they're just in the B tier but lower than Crew?
I would put
Probably.
them in B.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like, if I knew for sure who was responsible for their mad comps, like if it was the coach or if it was Sadak, because like if I knew for sure that it was their coach that were doing the mad comps, then
Sadak's not running any crazy comps with Karmikor yet on Haven.
One
on
man.
Haven.
On the,
the second most standard map we got. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks behind here. I think B is safe, but honestly, they probably should do better than that. But when we're putting Crew here, I do think Crew will be better. So
Yeah. Okay.
God,
all right.
it doesn't get easier.
MIBR.
right up,
So
get them
this-
up there.
This is Aspas.
yeah.
They kept
Question marks.
Artazine, who's going to be playing Flex, I think.
Yeah.
Nozwa is going to be playing Initiator. Then you've got Zenom, who's on Smokes, and Cortesia, who's on Senti. And both of those are Smokes players, but Smokes to Senti transition is normally really, really solid. I'm excited about this team. I'm willing to take the up.
Yeah.
I'm hyped for them, but that doesn't mean I have any more evidence than I do for Loud.
Sure, I'm in the same boat.
Vibe based. What, A?
Well,
S?
vibe and I think proven, just
Kind of
like
no one
X
in
Factor, proven X Factor, simply even just off of Aspas. Not to like put him on an everlasting pedestal, but like this dude just consistently.
That was sick.
Dude, I'm down for that. The top tier only has one team. That's the type of
No.
rating I want.
There's almost something horribly backwards about this year that we're getting so excited about MIBR. It's like
Yeah, it's awesome.
it is so
It's great.
ludicrous. It is good. I think A is where we should be putting this team.
Yeah,
Above
I'm
or
in
below
agreement.
Lev?
Well, let's get to that. Let's not complicate
Okay.
things. We're going to be
Let's
adding so
go
many
away,
teams
yeah.
here.
Go
I think below to begin though, because I think there's
Yeah,
more
I
question
agree.
marks with
that's
MIBR. But that, it doesn't really mean much. I just think there's more uncertainty.
Sure, I'm in for it.
Go.
I think this is fair.
NRG. Finally, we're back on stable footing. Because I feel like
Somewhat.
we've seen them in the off season. We
True.
know what the core of this team is capable of, and they've got a very talented roster. It's not that crazy, really.
You want to put them in S, don't you?
I want to. This. I'm saying this should be our first S tier team.
I'm on board with it. I'm at the point where I think they can win Masters. I think that something that's interesting is, they mentioned like the fact that they might be changing maps every like season or whatever.
Every 2 months.
Yeah, and I think like having FNS and Bonkar for that is something that's really good. I had Bonkar on my stream the other day, and he was like, "I want this to happen." He was like, "I like this is what I think is good for like us as a team that it changes so often." So
They have
I
an
think
incredible
that's good.
coach, one of the best IGLs that we've had like in the game entirely. Two of the strongest up and coming players, I think, from the tier 2 scene.
Put
I'm-
him in S.
I think S tier.
I'm so fine with that.
Chobra, where would you put them?
A.
Who the hell would you have in S?
RRQ.
Bro,
Trust me,
bro's
it's
only
just
got
RRQ.
RRQ. Yeah, it's nuts.
You know the likes of RQ and T1 and Gen.G.
Okay.
Yeah, watch.
okay.
Wait till we get the Pacific teams.
Okay.
See?
Sentinels. Now, Sentinels would have, I think, had to. They would have had to be in the S tier for last year's performance, right?
Yeah.
They win Madrid. They have a dip off in the middle, but they're back for champions as well. The way that they're currently running the team with the like role swaps, I know has got some people a bit spooked. How spooked are you, TMV?
This is clearly our first C tier team. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'd still put them in S. I still think that they should like role swap or not. If they stick with the role swap, then you know they should get better at it over time. You would hope, so it should be better. And if they don't, they should be good. Like no, I just think Narrate is fucking really good. Like it really, I think is somewhat that simple. They were good. They were an S tier team like you said last year, and I think Narrate is an S tier player. Put him in S.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think as well with how Zeken's playing, he's looking like one, if not the best player in the world at the moment. And I think that it might be the complete opposite to Sentinels from last year, where they're like starting really hot and then like dip and then get hot. Whereas I think this is gonna be like a slow progression of probably not starting the best, or at least hitting the expectations of what people were thinking, and then being pretty good when it comes around to like second Masters champs. So I'm so fine with S. They can win champs with this roster.
I'd like to have them underneath NRG. I'm a bit concerned at the like.
So you're the Sen hater now.
Man, yeah.
I'm
Wait,
not
you-
Wow. Go on, throw
Yeah, at him.
the allegations, throw the slander. I'm a little concerned at the initiator gap that is left a little bit on this team if they're putting if they're gonna swap things around a bit. I mean, even
So wait, you started this off by kind of atting me.
Yeah, he really
talking
tried to
about
bait you out.
some people are concerned about the role swap, and now you are saying, well, I think their initiation is going to be dog shit because they've gone for this role swap.
did I ever use the word dog shit? No, it's just going to be a sprinkling of poo. Just no. I don't know. I feel like there's some stuff to figure out, and we haven't seen as much of them. I was very confident in them last year because we saw them so much in the off season. We actually haven't seen very much of them this year. So okay though. I think S tier
but we've
is
seen
okay.
the core of them, right? For the whole year. I mean, again, I get it. Like it's a different roster. Like you can't count that too much, but I would argue that counts for something.
Yes, I mean that's very true. But if the core would only be 2 people that have stayed in the same roles if they continue doing the same thing. But yeah, it is fair. Let's move on to the next team though. I'm okay with them being in the S tier. I think that's fine. I'm just cautious. 100 Thieves. Now, what an unusual team in the sense that they've stayed very similar because so many other teams are making changes this year, and 100 Thieves have stuck with broadly the same model. They've only made a single swap, which I guess was forced upon them basically because Bang went elsewhere.
Pretty sure the map pool is going to be good for them as well. Like they got 6 from EG and they kind of dominated Fracture, and maybe after looking at the bind comp, I want to say that he had maybe like a good amount to do with that in terms of like overpowered ults and like those kind of comps that they use for Fracture and EG, and the comp they use on bind is like kind of similar, that they all have sick ults and they can kind of combo well. I think this is an A team really because keeping the 4 together, and I would say the Smokes change is pretty much the same. I think Xander's a beast, so I put him in A, and I have like a similar expectations as last year.
Last year, they looked so incredibly good in stage 1 and heading into Shanghai.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fluffed out into nothing at the end of the year in a bit of disappointing fashion. I think I agree with you that I still have confidence in this team. I don't think that there's anything here that should lead you to believe that they're going to be like, terrible. But I wonder
would
if
put
they
them in B.
would
personally.
you?
I just think
I
there's
would
no
also-
way that all these
yeah.
America's teams are going to be this good.
Yeah.
Like some of
There
them,
needs
I just
to be
feel
a
like
gap.
there's gonna. I don't know. Like, yeah.
I mean,
if
we
you're
do have
expecting
2G in D tier.
No, I'm not
Fucking
talking
put him in
about
F if
the
you want.
gap.
I don't give a
talking
shit.
I don't give a shit.
Well, 100 like if I'm thinking about where I would rank these teams, like I agree with you, Sliggy, that like, oh, I can't wait to see some of these teams on Fracture. Like, especially like I want to know who was responsible for EG's mad Fracture. You know, when EG come out with Potter and it's just like their Fracture is insane. Well, no, but yeah, I don't know. Like, if the map pool's rotating every act, then map pools don't fucking matter, right? Like, you're gonna play all the maps, so it's like, if we're judging this by the entire season, you're gonna play every map. So I would just say, like, I have a concern that, like you said, it felt like, and to me, you know, they did get away with like, hey, we're just gonna abuse bind because no one's banning bind against us, and we're gonna pick it every single time, and we're 1-0 up every single time, and then as soon as kind of their bind faded, you know, kind of the whole thing, you know, they weren't awful, but you know, it was just like they were okay, and it fizzled out.
Yeah, they weren't just winning on bind though. I mean, bind was a very comfortable pocket pick for them.
I think it helps when you're starting 1-0 up every map. Like they were playing bind and winning bind like basically every time into Shanghai.
Yeah. But on the run into Shanghai, they also 3-0'd
they also did start to
G2
get
in the
good at
finals. Yeah, I think in the game before that as well, they actually lost bind but won the other 2 maps as well. Like, they were looking like a fairly well-rounded team that just had one map that was clearly best in world. They weren't just a, you know, mediocre at every map and then had one incredibly good one. I just don't see a reason why.
Put him in A. Put him in A.
Oh,
We got a lot of teams.
I think they're going to be better than Crew. I think they're going to be better than Crew. That's the reason why I'm saying it's got to be A or top B.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you
would
guys
put
are
them top
sleeping on Crew big time, but sure.
So you think Crew are better? You wanted to put 100 Thieves in A, but
I
you wanted
think Crew is
are
better
better.
than 100.
I
Thieves.
think Crew is better than 100 Thieves, but
Yeah,
I would
agree with
I would
that.
also put 100. Like,
I
I'd put them both in A.
I
don't understand
Crew
the-
is so good.
I don't
this
understand
year.
the Croupium when Heat has left the
Really?
team. Like, Heat was their second best player,
Bro,
like one of the massive
if-
catalysts to their success.
If Kesnet left, then sure, I get it. But this guy just takes over every game.
He is, yeah. I mean, Kesnet's been doing that when they were 0-9 as well.
Yeah, but dude, they got Mauser. He was looking so good. Like, he's literally looking on the best form last year that he's ever looked.
Problem is, these teams are going to play each other, and some of them are going to end up looking shit because they're going to lose to these other Americas teams.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's no winning because we're putting too many Americas high. But I
Okay.
will say, should we do a vote and then coin flip? Because I'm going A.
I reckon I'm fine with A or top B. Just between Lev and Crew is where I would have this team.
Just want to flip a coin?
I mean, I'm putting them on B.
Where's TMV got them?
Top B.
All right, well then top B. I'm
Then
fine with top B.
wins. Yeah.
All right, top B, and then what the hell is the next team? Cloud9. I didn't realize actually that these were roughly ordered in terms of the region. I thought it was just going to be kind of like random ordering.
entirely.
you mean
actually, not-
roughly?
Yeah.
Roughly?
No, sorry. I mean exactly.
Perfectly laid out.
I mean exactly.
Alphabetical order in region.
No, I'm just too thick to have realized that when it first got pulled up. All right, C9 then, because I would not have C9 rated highly, except that they just did really well in this tournament.
Yeah, they're a tough one now. You said we should disregard it. Put them in C2.
I'm merely asking the question.
Well,
Sliggy said we should disregard it.
What did I? Actually, no, I did. Yeah, you're right.
Seated.
I will say if we are disregarding, then you got to put them below the other. Dude,
Oh.
I kind of am on board that these guys do just own off season, and then it comes to the the actual season, and it doesn't deliver. But I mean, it's got to be COB just because of where everyone else is. And
I think
that's no
they're going to be
Yeah.
similar level to teams like Loud and EG. I think they're going to be around that like
Cloud, EG.
the like
C
middle
tier.
B, bottom B, maybe
Y-
C tier, depending
yeah,
on
I-
how we distribute things. I think they're going to be fighting with those kind of teams, scrapping with them.
I mean, I agree. I would put them at B if we take Red Bull
Yes.
into consideration, and if we don't, then I would put them in C.
I mean, that's fair.
So C.
What
I
do,
guess.
so what are we doing? Yeah.
Go on
C for
then.
Cloud.
D until we talk about T1, where we're gonna
Damn it.
absolutely care about them.
This one,
C
this
for
one is
C9.
brutal. Shot.
That feels too
EG.
hard.
It feels really wrong, but yeah,
Who cares?
I'm for it.
It does feel wrong, yeah.
There's no
EG
pressure for them. You're welcome.
Who's on EG's team now? Have they?
So
Have
EG
they
have
signed
got,
Jay?
Yeah.
they've got
He wasn't a sub.
presumably Icy. We don't know that for sure, but
Yeah.
Right.
presumably Icy. Nature, Derek, Superman, Yay is their team. I think this is very similar to C9. I really do.
Yeah.
I think they're in that same kind of.
I mean,
boat.
that's fair. They're like
Yeah.
that team that could upset the other teams, but you don't expect them to go to champs. So, like they could definitely beat everyone above them, but could they do it consistently? Probably not. Unless EA plays Chamber, then they're obviously an S team.
The more we're talking about this as well, I feel like we should be dragging sorry, not Yay. We should be dragging Loud down into top C tier as well.
Do it.
Yeah.
I think Loud should come and say hello to the people in top C tier.
I'd put Cloud9
Meanwhile,
above Loud.
Energy and Sen both get to sit together in S.
Cloud9 above Loud? Yeah.
Depends if you look at the off season. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to that, really.
Yeah.
I'd put EG in.
Yeah, I would put
think
EG and
so.
C. I mean, it feels like a very safe answer.
yeah, sure.
Furia.
F for Fioria?
I don't understand even what's happening with this team. I don't understand who's playing what roles for them. Like,
Feels like they got screwed by 2G winning Ascension. Like it could have just been like, oh, we'll just take their team if they don't.
is Havoc playing Duelist for this team next year?
No idea.
I don't think anybody knows, right?
I mean, I'm amazed that Havoc has stuck around, to be honest, because his performances in a lot of these matches was he looked really nervous, like he was struggling a lot with translating his performance to on-stage stuff. And then Khalil has been just riding in the pro scene based on those first 2 weeks of 2023 Americas
Yeah,
for
that
a
one
long
power
time.
game. That one
So,
power game really set it out for him.
They've got some potential with this squad, but I refuse to believe. I simply refuse to believe, even though they've added Heat, and I was talking about how Heat's
Yeah.
really good as well.
Look, we better.
That's
you
crazy.
want 6 or 7
Yeah,
in the S tier. We better end up with 6 or 7 in this F tier.
Well, I don't think the F tier needs 6 or 7.
No, yeah, I
It at
agree
least
with
needs
that.
4. The bottom teams of each region.
Well, we got China
least-
coming up. We can fill it out. It's fine.
I think
Almost spat out my water. Jeez.
I think if there was going to be any team that was dysfunctional, I would put a bet on it being Furia. It would not
Yeah.
be, my bet would not be on the other teams, even though they could be there. My bet would be on Furia if we were talking dysfunctional. I would at the moment put them in D tier with 2G, but if we need F tier
2G?
for some reason,
We do. It's there.
I
Oh,
think
trust me, there are teams for F tier.
Yeah, I think this is fair, but I will say they will look better than last year. But everyone else got such an upgrade that they have to be down here. Like they're gonna come bottom 3.
I think they should be in D tier anyway, though, because I don't think the quality is going to be the same as. There's going to be some teams that are way worse than Furia.
I don't care. It's funny. What's the difference? A D and F. Oh, here's a little throw you a little bone. You're in D tier.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Fucking hell.
going to be pissed off either
Who
way,
gives
aren't
a
they?
shit? Put him in
Yeah.
F.
All right. For the funny, we're putting her in F, apparently, according to TMV. You've been so harsh. You started off throwing 2G into D tier.
Wait.
and now you-
How many wins does Furia get this season?
Ooh.
Two.
How many games do you play?
Well,
Play
just look at the other
11.
teams. Are they beating
Well,
any
when
of these
kickoff,
teams?
you play like
Yeah.
13.
Yeah, they might beat 2G. They might.
probably win, like,
they
2?
could maybe upset some of the other teams if they
Yeah,
have
I
a really
think they
bad
could
day.
get like 2 or 3 wins. I think they could go like 3
Well,
and
3 wins. Wow.
3 and
3 and
8 or
20?
something. 3 and 20. How many times? Whoa, are we doing
Wait.
triple round robin?
Yeah, what kind
That's
of
the ones.
Yeah,
Kurt revealed America's producer a real new format.
yeah, crazy format. They only play minimum 13, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
I could see,
So you're saying 3
Yeah.
and 10 is D tier?
or
What is
maybe like
F tier
4
then?
and 9 or something. It's not
Yeah, but
necessarily
they
their
have-
record, though. I think America's is a. I don't know. Go on then. Fine, we can
Gives
put
a
them in
shit. Put
The-
G2. Oh well, a G2S or A. Ooh, S.
S.
Dude,
in
look
my
at-
opinion,
look at this
S.
NA
I would put
bias.
them in S. I just wouldn't have 3 America's teams already in S. But
It's statistically the best performing region of all time in Valorant.
It is, and
What
you,
can you do
you,
about
it
that?
is, but
you have got to think of like they're all
You won my
crammed.
time.
They're all crammed into like 6, 7
Shut up,
teams.
Brit boy.
It does
and
make
we can-
sense.
You're fucking
I mean,
British.
we can adjust it later.
You
But
live in
I
Britain,
would
born
put
in
G2
Britain.
at S.
Yeah, I think it just makes sense for them to be in the S tier. I would
Yeah.
even put them, I think, above Sentinels. Yeah, I think
I would put them top.
you would put them top.
Ooh.
I would
within
put them
Gen.G.
above the other
Okay.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's reasonable based on what they did last year and the addition of Jogamo. Okay, I can get with that. All right, China. Now, for the Chinese teams, I've got all the rosters written down next to me. Does that mean I'm an expert on China? Does it? Shite. All right, so all gamers.
The roster's not even complete yet, right?
I mean, they've been playing with a roster. Now, technically, a lot of these rosters are not complete.
Yeah, but as far as I understand, they're like, it's still kind of public trials, more or less.
I mean, get
Put
on
them in
with it
F.
then.
Fucking hell, that's all I need to hear.
They are going to be a pretty rough team, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think F is fine.
We can throw them in the F tier if you would like. All right, Billy Gaming. Now this team has been doing pretty well. They've actually signed some decent people as well. They got Neff on the team now, who was part of that like Bleed roster that made through to Ascension. Neff's apparently going to be IGLing for them too, which I didn't realize until recently. And yeah, the rest of the team, Wisey, obviously K Knight, and then Russia and Levius. So they seem like a pretty good squad. They've been getting good results recently. I don't know exactly where to put them though. I think
It's weird because it's like if we're comparing all of the regions, then we
yep,
can't
all
put
of the
them-
regions.
Then we can't put
What, you're
them
saying like a
too
good
high.
Chinese team is like a B tier team?
But that's not
Ye-
true, is it? I mean,
Ooh.
the top tier Chinese teams are, I mean,
I mean, they're
EDG.
doing- they're doing
EDG
good.
just fucking won
Yeah.
champs. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
they're
yeah.
doing they're good. They're doing good at champs, but the overall like team level is lower than the average.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah,
second
the
best.
expected consistency of the teams is lower, right? Like they
Yeah.
can have upsets and they can have frags, but you know,
The second best team in China is probably FPX, right, of last year, and they didn't do.
I think you're being harsh on FBX. They were
Yeah, they were
choked.
super close, but they
Yeah.
didn't get wins. But they were the
That's
second best
harsh.
Chinese team.
I think they dropped off on form in champs. I think that's
Yeah.
fair to say.
Yeah,
Like
Ah,
they had
they
a better
definitely did.
chance in the earlier tournaments.
yeah. In Shanghai, it really looked like
Mhm.
they were going to do something for sure. It did, but again, it's not like anyone other than EDG has done it yet. What are you thinking then for Billy? The team that slaughtered Finesse and he's come back to reclaim his throne.
Like,
The
like
team
re-
that sent Ardis to looking for
well,
a
I guess the
backup spot in
rest here
China.
then.
Yeah, better than FNS.
I mean,
I think you have to put them in B tier, in my opinion.
oh, you're very high on them. Wow.
I was leaning more to like if we're doing them all regions, I was leaning
Yeah.
more to like high C because
Yeah, this has to be full.
I'm looking
full
at
world.
those America's teams. I'm just thinking like I would think that consistently they should be beating them.
Really? Because I think
Mm.
if we've got them where they are right now, I think let's say there was like a larger, well, maybe it was like champs, right? Like let's say one of the 100 Thieves or crew guys went on a run and made it to champs, and they played against Billy. Like Billy are probably looking like the third best team in China at the moment. I think that would be a close
yeah.
game. I think
Yeah.
they're in the same grouping. I'm not saying that they would necessarily beat them, but I think they are in the same grouping.
I'd be okay with them to be in B, but I think like I'm just looking at C and thinking it's like kind of stacked.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, I would put them, if anything, at the end of C, like behind.
Oh,
Damn, this guy's a savage.
oh.
Who have you, like, just EDG and S tier, and then the Grand Canyon of China, as we're just looking down at the gap from the first to the second in Jobra's
but
mind.
it obviously when it's tiered, it looks like it's a massive gap. But I just think if everyone's improving this fast, and you're having these other teams in Americas, etc., rated highly, I just like they can beat them. It doesn't mean they can't beat them. It doesn't mean it's a miracle to beat them. But I would consider it an upset. somewhat.
Yeah,
like not a massive
it
one.
would
but
be an upset. But I would also say, saying that other teams are improving, I would say that this region's like improving the fastest.
Yeah.
In comparison to where
okay.
they were.
I mean, that's
Yeah, I would
that's
agree.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with top of C.
Top C or low B. Like I'm in for either.
I'm fine with top C for now. Well, we can revisit.
Still
We can
underrated
revisit.
in my opinion, but okay, that's
I
fine.
think that's fair.
Dragon Ranger Gaming. This was the Ascendant team from what was it, 2 years ago or something? No, 1 year ago.
Who did they
Last
pick
year.
up? In this
Ascended into this.
So
year.
DRG have T-Virus Luke, they have Nick, they have Spirit Z1, Kangshu, and Vukashi.
Ah, okay, it's pretty much the same.
It's
it's
it
pretty
seems
much
like
the
a
same.
decent roster, but they just can't get wins. Like I'm watching the team and they are just a little dysfunctional. They seem like they're this close to being a pretty good team in China, but their actual results are that they're losing to a lot of the like middle of the pack teams in China right now. They're not bad. But results wise, you'd have to put them at the bottom of China right now. But the whole of China is getting a lot better.
Sure.
Not by this tier list, it's probably not.
No, not according to the way that you're going to be
Not
ranking
according to
them.
us.
But I think this team is going to be like you have to kind of put them in the like D tier or F tier. They're
Put them in D.
but
I think D is
they're
fair.
going to be better than they're currently playing, in my opinion.
Sure.
Sure. Cool. D tier.
Okay, fair
a bunch
enough.
of non-statements to really lock it in.
Now EDG, they just bombed out of a recent off-season tournament, so we got to drag them down into like C tier for that. Right?
Got it, Matt. Do it. Do it.
Get out of here.
Put them up there. them up
S,
in S.
man. Yeah.
Where would you rate
Interesting
them
where
in
you go,
terms
though.
of
Yeah.
in terms of best teams of last year? If you had to
Oof.
roughly try to get in your head where over the whole course of the year where EDG would land,
They
you
had
couldn't put them as the number one team.
Are we talking like pre-Simon or after Simon?
After Simon, surely,
okay,
right? Because
yeah,
that's the
sure,
roster they're
let's-
sticking with.
Let's say it was the post Simon.
Pretty
But-
high, top 4.
Yeah, I would put them top
Right.
4.
Did they have a better year than G2? I feel like with Simon, they're
Yeah.
I
Yes.
feel like
With
they were
Simon, I think they
playing better than that.
absolutely would have. I think they were shakier in the beginning, but
Okay, so we're putting them at the moment at number one.
I
At the
think that's-
moment, I'm
I
fine
think,
with that.
I think that's fair. They
Yeah.
won champs. That was like
yeah.
their
Yeah.
form was incredible. If they get back to that form, and again like off season, I see everyone complaining, and even they had to do like a tweet or something, didn't they? And be like, yeah, sorry, apologies for this one. But dude, they're taking time off. Like they're literally taking holidays. They're playing the off season like an off season.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not worried.
Then again, that has not gone well for other teams in the past. I mean, taking the offseason as an offseason rather than trying to get a running start into the season actually kind of whacked a lot of good teams last year.
I think that's fair. I think that you kind of, I think you take a slower start normally, like getting into the actual form of it. That could also happen. But I also think like within their region, they should be okay to get to Masters.
Oh, yeah, easily. I think that
Yeah.
it would be still very surprising if they lost a tournament in China. Like, that would be a watershed moment because I don't think they have it. I don't think they have. I mean, they keep losing in like the upper bracket final and then coming back through the lowers sometimes, but I don't think they've lost a tournament in China, which is crazy. Let's move on to the next team. I don't know what happened to TMV. He's died.
He's gone. We put him in S though, right? Yeah, in the top of S.
Yeah. Top
Yeah,
of S tier.
Okay.
They're locked in. So the next team is FPX, which I think is one of the most interesting ones because we actually do have a lot of data of them at the international tournaments, and they're always within a few rounds of winning some big game, but they just haven't.
I think they're consistently good at proving that they're like strong when it's a new meta and like new maps. They come up with some really cool stuff. I think the changing of maps and changing of meta should suit this team a lot. I don't think they're on to a good start in terms of the off season at the moment, which is like a little bit of a worry. But everything resets basically in terms of it. So I would pretty much put them in A, just because I feel like they had a pretty consistent year with a drop off, and then now everything gets reset, and they've been proven to be good at that.
I'm fine with A.
I think A, considering that's the tier where we have Leviathan and Aspas MIBR, is hello, Mr. TMV, you're back.
Hello.
I think that's rating them too highly. I
Okay.
think there's still a gap
Yeah.
between what they've achieved and what those teams are expected to do. See,
But-
I would have them around the same point as Billy Billy personally, because I think if Billy Billy turned up to a big event, they'd be doing similar amounts. They'd be like taking teams really, really close, and we'd be talking about it.
They would
and
be
I
taking Gen.G at their peak close, Billy.
yeah, potentially. I think so. It's possible. I also don't think that was Gen.G playing at their peak. I mean, they ended up losing. In
I
that
mean, yeah, they
tournament.
improved, throughout, sure,
but also the point that I have about FPX is I think this team is not set up for long-term growth in the same way that some of the other Chinese teams are. I actually think they're going to fall off more over the course of the year, because I think any
Sure.
team that's got set up with a weird calling structure where they have to like be swapping language stuff around and calling multiple times, from what we've heard, that's not going to get solved anytime soon. And I think that the actually squads like, I mean, I say Billy Billy, but I actually have no idea what Neff is doing as an IGL. So maybe I shouldn't make that comparison at all. Maybe it's just ignorance that's leading me to make this take about Billy Billy being a team that's set up for success. But I feel like the comms issues are going to be a consistent problem for the squad.
Sure. I think it's.
I think the advantage for them though is we're gonna get map pool rotations. They're gonna play the fucking weirdest
That's
comps
what
known
I
to
said.
fucking man, and no one's gonna know what to fucking do because the maps just come in and they've never seen anything like it before.
yeah, there's no time to counter it eventually, right? Because it just switches
but also,
nonstop.
I think they'll kind of be shit. Let's see.
What?
I mean, listen, I was a big believer in FPX all year, and I like the stuff they bring out, but I agree. Normally I would have put them in B. I can find myself agreeing with A, but I would stand with B, which I think B is like the perfect tier to be like, this team consistently proves that they can be good, right? Or they can be great. They just haven't quite gotten there.
I think that's very fair, personally.
Sure. I'm in
Go.
for it. I think considering the other teams that are near them, I think it's fine.
JDG. So this is a team that picked up like a lot of the Rare Atom players. Yeah. So Stu, star player. Sword9 is their IGL. Viva, Jikuro, and Xian. So they've made a change or two here or there, but that looks like the roster that they're heading into next year with. They have not found a huge amount of success. This is a fairly consistent middle of the pack team for me in China. Like, I don't really see them doing too much.
I think that's fair. I kind of like the roster. The roster's not too bad when you look at it. But yeah, I can't warrant putting them above Billy Billy. So I think that's fine to put them like
D.
C.
Oh,
Okay.
I'd say D.
I think,
really?
I think D is reasonable, to be honest. I think, to me, there's a bit of a gap between the teams that I'm excited about in China that I feel like can do something if they turned up to an international event, and teams like this where I'm like, you need a bit more time in the oven.
Yeah. I think when I look at all the C teams, I would expect them to beat this team. So yeah.
I also think that 2G would beat this team. I'd rather put 2G ahead of them, personally.
Mhm.
Nova. I've had some reasonable results. To me, they're very interchangeable with JDG.
They got some of the best names in Valorant. Though. You gotta give them that.
Okay, who's your favorite name?
Obi-Wan, spelled as Obone, is one of the best names of all time. They've got Ooh guy. That's one of the best names. CB, you know, just great.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is the best name in all of Valorant.
Yeah, Obi-Wan is pretty good.
I think this is another D tier team, though.
You said D?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
afraid
think
so.
that's fair. I would, I would basically group them with JDG in my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
I think though that I'd put Dragon Ranger Gaming at the bottom, and then like the other two are
Sure.
interchangeable. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that.
All right. Then we've got whose logo is this? Is this Titan Esports Club?
Titan
That's
Esports,
tech. Yeah, that's RB. Howdong's team.
Howdong's there now with
Yes,
After.
With
Yeah.
After
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
That's good pickups. Not that he was
Yeah.
fragging heavy, but it's good pickups.
But I
You
think
gotta-
it'll-
like you
Are we
gotta.
sure?
The problem is you gotta look at EDG when they like changed him. Like it looks. He didn't
They
have. He
went
didn't
from
have.
not very good to winning
Yeah,
champs. That's
yeah.
not a great sign.
So
When
it's,
you get replaced and your team goes from probably like a B tier team to winning champs.
yeah, but I
They-
think it might
Go
be
on.
needed. I was gonna say it might be needed and like firepower. Like, dude, RB should always be pretty
Yeah,
high
dude.
up there as well. Like they got firepower in that team at least.
Yeah, I think he's been kind of middle of the pack on Neon in China. I don't think he's been like tearing the game up from what I've seen. They got really unlucky, this team, with the teams that they ran into in the most recent Chinese tournament. They ran into Wolves, and then they ran into this XLG, who are on the come up, who look really tasty. But like both of those teams are really good. So I don't know where to put this Titan Esports Club. I think it's more like, how much do you believe that Haodong is gonna, you know, turn the team around a little bit, or give them a boost?
After the year that they had, it's hard to have much faith in it. Like until I see something different, they're going in D.
In the D, yeah.
Okay.
Why are you thumbs down in TMV? Do you want him in the F
No,
tier?
he wants him in F.
Lower.
In the F tier?
The
Do you want-
DRG has to be there if we're doing that.
Yeah, DRG would have to be
Yeah,
there.
there's
as
no
well.
way DRG.
Yeah,
He's like,
fine.
poor
I'll
DRG.
put them all in there.
Poor DRG, man.
2G.
Poor DRG. You're so harsh,
in the F
TMV.
tier. Why not?
We're trying to be all kind and like centralize teams, and then every time the Emperor with his thumb down,
Yeah, as well.
gladiator blood being spilled on the Colosseum floor.
Does
Yeah.
Furia beat all these teams though?
Yeah, I think
yes,
so.
at the moment.
yeah,
I
for
think so.
There you
now.
go.
Yeah, but
There you
TMV
go.
said they have to be an F for funny, so that's where they are. Trace, okay, Trace. Here's a team that we can speak about with some enthusiasm. They did well in their run at champs. They really
Hey, DMV,
don't
get out of here,
thumbs
bro.
down already.
Get out of here.
Trace, I mean, they're like Duelist Sentinel swapping players popped off. They had some excellent ideas on Ascent. They came prepped, ready, had good performances at a LAN event, which is one of the biggest things that's been holding Chinese teams back. It's not bad.
They went from, so literally look at this, right? They had one of the most shocking ascents we've seen in the year, and then they turned it around and had like one of the best ascents we've seen in the year within like the space of 24 hours. So I think that's always a good sign. I'm kind of high up on this team. I feel like Kai, when he gets going, is like really strong. I'd be tempted to put them like, I mean, honestly, I actually rate them a little bit higher than FPX at the moment, but I don't know if that's just like recency bias.
No, I
Same.
agree with that. I also think that they
Ended the season better than FBA.
Yeah, they've been back and forth throughout China with these. Like it hasn't been. I think they should be. I think they should be in A tier personally. I think they've done enough
Unlucky Choba.
to be either
Get
top
'em in
B
there.
tier or A tier. Like I would want.
Listen,
them
man, I
around
can't
there.
wait to hear you guys' arguments when I talk about RRQ. Like, I just
It's
can't
gonna
wait, man.
It's gonna be
I'm going to
good.
ignore the fact that Trace lost to RRQ. That's what I'm going to do.
I would. If we're putting FPX there, I don't think the gap's like big enough for them to be above an A tier. I would just say like B tier.
That's fair enough. Okay.
Because in my mind they're like around the same level as FPX, where it's like upset potential, but not like consistently good at the moment.
I also don't think it's fair to put them above 100 Thieves and Crew when
Yeah, I agree with that.
when again all of those teams have gone to international events last year and done something, right? Like they've wait, actually Crew
Chris won 2 games. What do you mean?
Well.
It made it to playoffs.
yeah. But I mean comparing it to 100 Thieves who went to Shanghai and at least got some
And
wins even though they-
started in playoffs.
Yeah. It was a bit disappointing 100 Thieves at Shanghai.
TV's on a mission, man. He's come
But,
with the entire ledger.
No,
of
no, no.
facts.
I agree with you though. Trace just fucking bullshit their way into a stent bind, and they were good at 2 maps at champs, and they were shit everywhere else.
Their map pool wasn't as deep as some of the other teams.
That is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the nice
Okay.
way of putting it.
Tai Lu. Rhymes with poo, put them in the F tier.
What did Tyler change?
They
Is that how we're
changed.
doing now,
we don't
Rhymes?
even know. We don't even know what
We
they're.
don't even
you
know.
you put Fury in the F tier because it was funny Furia F tier. They're like you were going for alliteration. That's worse than rhyming.
I'm fine with the F tier. I never said. When
No,
did
that's-
I say that I wouldn't
that's-
put them in the F tier?
No, that's
I
reasonable.
was just
No,
wondering if that's how we're going to do it going forward.
Tai Lu, we don't even know what their roster is. They've been playing with their coach recently instead of their full roster. Even when they have been playing, the results have not been very good. I just don't know. I just don't have faith in this team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard when they don't have a full roster to have faith in them. Yeah, I think that's fair
That
enough.
too. and their past year wasn't exactly convincing either. So
No.
They do have 5 centimeter.
They do have 5 centimeter.
Mm.
That's true. But I have 5 centimeter, and you don't see me above the F tier.
Is that
That's not
silence long
true.
enough? Okay. I think put them in like D. It's D or F. Let's be honest.
It's
if he's
F.
ever
Put it
here,
in
it has to be F.
I
yeah.
have more faith in Tech than I do in Ty Lue.
Yeah,
I have more
I agree.
faith that.
I have more faith in Tyloo than I do AG though. Is that fair?
Yes, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Let's
I have
swap
more
Ty
faith
Lue
in
and AG
Sideshow's sexual
That-
performance than Ty Lue.
all night long. As we mentioned earlier, you should know.
Yeah.
Wolves now shouldn't have even said it. Shouldn't have even said the word. I should have just gone TMV. What's your favorite team of all time in all of traditional sports?
I'm not even a Wolves fan. Yeah, but
Internet
I did
God
put this. I
will
did
be
send
back
this to
soon.
Kurt. God, Kurt, you work so fast.
Tell
Tell
them to
them to
put
put
Wolves
Wolves.
in A minimum.
Come on, Kurt, tell them.
All I know is the
way.
message you sent me.
I wanted you to argue, Kurt. I wanted you to provide the
This-
argument for Wolves.
This roster looks sick.
It does
Honestly,
look
like,
sick,
It
yeah.
looks
Yes.
so good. You've got Juicy from that Bleed team, who was extremely good. Yukor, who's been popping off whenever we've seen them play in China, or I think Yukor's been to international events with FPX at some point, like
Yeah.
years ago.
Back in the day, yeah.
Sufat Baby, is that how you pronounce his name? I have no idea. I've got no clue how I'm supposed to pronounce this alias, but I'm giving it my best shot. Sofat Baby. Spring and Lysor. And Spring and Lysor have both been really, really good too. And I think Spring's making a swap to play from Duelist over to playing Smokes for this team so that Juicy can be the Duelist, right? So I don't know. That is just a stacked roster.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I've never been like as high as everybody else on Juicy. Like he's a great player, but I feel like oftentimes his limits defined the limits of his team. Like whether it's how he plays or what he plays, he's very good at what he does. But I don't know if he would be flexible enough, and especially like if we're going to be changing maps all the time and the meta continues to get more and more aggressive every time. I'm not convinced that he's like going to be the one changing this team.
They did already
That's
make
wrong.
second in the recent Chinese tournament without him as well. So
Right.
Yeah,
that was before they swapped Juicy and Via, and they already were like, well, not a top 2
Good,
team because
yeah.
EDG and Trace didn't participate, but a top 4 team already. So that's pretty good.
so
And
for
that's
me,
before Juicy.
they're like around the same spot as Billy. That's where I'm at. But I do think like this team probably makes champs, and it's like between Billy and Wolves.
Kurt, give me your argument. Come on, Kurt, get in there.
I know nothing about this team other than they're owned by a British org, right?
The Wolverhampton Wolves. That's what
Well,
they call
no,
it.
the Wolves are owned by a Chinese owner. That's why they play in China.
Oh, great.
Okay, so
There you go.
TMV.
But cheers for that
Wolves fan.
argument.
Yeah, why
Kurt.
are you
Sure,
so
backing me
quiet,
up.
TMV? Talk to us.
Wolves they're gonna be fucking good. Obviously they're gonna be fucking good. It's getting that time again. Spring will come. Spring is springing soon. So he's gonna be good during spring. And then
Okay.
and then, the rest, like you say, Juicy, good. The rest of the team, good. Like they got rid of, they cut the fat. I mean,
They didn't cut
won
the
four.
fat.
They won four. They won four. Well, no, they didn't cut Stu Fat Baby. That's true.
Yeah, he's
but,
still on the team.
but they won 4-1 at the weekend. It's all looking good.
They won 4-1. The football team won 4-1, and that's part of your analysis. I think the problem here is we've underrated Billy. Billy should have gone up a tier, and that's holding us back from being able to rate Wolves properly.
Okay, so sure.
What?
Cut, give me that.
I'm trying to learn about this team, man. I don't know anything about them.
Researching.
Do they sell the players' jerseys on the Wolverhampton Wanderers website? They should do.
Probably not.
No, they don't.
No,
Although I do have a jersey. Hold on.
Women's
Here we
first team, under 21s, Valorant squad. It should be another tab up.
Yeah,
there.
where's the Valorant team?
Yeah, I don't know.
But you say we're underrating Billy, but are we not just doing that for everyone that's in like, was it
Just
the
got
Ceta,
rolled.
Beta?
Oh, never mind, they won.
I think the B tier though is all got some very capable teams in it. Like they'd go to international events, people would be excited for them
Yeah.
to perform and like get some big wins. And that's
Is that
where
not
I
the same
think-
as Billy?
Yeah, that's where I think they should be in the B tier. We've currently got them in the C tier.
Okay, no, but dude, I'm
You've
looking at
played
the C.
yourself.
But I'm looking
You've
at the
played
C tier.
yourself.
No, I thought the B tier was the C tier. Look at the teams who've got in the C tier. We can't be up in them. You're telling me Billy go against EG or Cloud9 and you're feeling confident that Billy wins?
My back.
I think they would win. Am I confident about it? No, I'm not confident about it because who the hell knows what's going
See
on?
this? Wolves esports. See that?
Oh, is that why?
Wolves esports.
I thought it was just a badly made jersey and some of the yellow wood started coming
This is
off.
the Wolves esports jersey. I couldn't get a name on the back, unfortunately. Also, the neck is a bit too small, so if you do want to order one, make sure you get like probably a size up because the necks are quite small.
Thank you for the jersey review. Appreciate that.
Dude, just
Appreciate
whack them in C, man. Whack them in C. They got a good
Alright.
roster. Where are
I
you
think
putting them,
that's-
TMB? Don't
B,
tell me A.
B,
Okay.
B at least. They're above FPX. They're better than FPX.
Okay, but again, so I'll do the same argument. If Wolves were playing against C9 or EG, you're saying that
easy.
Wolves are
Favorite.
favorite.
They're 26-0.
Sure.
You can't reason with him, Sliggy.
Nah, there's no
He's
point.
not living in the real
There's no
world.
point in trying.
All right, where
It's not
so
even that fucking mad. I just occurred. Hello.
Chobra, where do you fall on this? You can be the deciding vote.
I'm in C, but I can live with low B.
Okay, we'll keep them in C for now because I feel like pairing them with Billy Billy makes the most sense. All right, XLG. These guys, genuinely good team on the come up. Even though they've recently lost Crystal, they kept the rest of the team together. They've swapped over the IGLing, and they have still continued to be putting up some good results. I was watching their games, and they look like a team that's going to keep getting better over the course of the year. And like they're already making waves in the tier 1 level, despite being the Ascension team of this year, right? Because they just ascended recently.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already beating a range of teams at the bottom of the barrel. And so I think they're, I don't know, a solid low C tier maybe.
They should also be more prepped than like they've been playing a lot and they're going up against new teams forming. I would actually say this is like probably like top form for them at the moment and like bottom form for the others. I would put them lower. I would actually put them like in the group with the others.
Oh, tragic.
Wait, what, in D?
I would put them D. I think that's fair.
In the D tier?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would probably put them at the end. I
Flattening
would
my
put them. I would
China
put them
hype.
next to. No, but you got to think that the China tier 2 is pretty far behind as well. So they like kind of farmed a region that was like a little bit far
That's fair.
behind.
XLG are
then-
definitely better than JDG though. They have to be like at least up there with 2G.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put. Yeah, that's how I would order it.
I think
personally.
So. I think so.
Oh.
Okay, then we've got
Sluggy's giving
we've got Ascend up next.
Ascend? What fucking year do you live in?
Is this not the logo for Ascend?
No.
I thought we'd just put them on the list because we had you on the show.
Oh, no.
No? Is this
No.
is this Apex?
It is.
Are we now into EMEA? All right, let's go for EMEA. Apex, we don't even know who their 5th is. Now, Sliggy, blink twice if you know who it actually is, but you're not allowed to say.
What does that mean, dude? That's crazy. Why is the camera on me? Take it away.
Oh,
Surely
one?
that-
He just blinked. Oh.
I've genuinely not even heard rumors though. Like, are the rumors floating behind the scenes? You're allowed to say that at least. Like, do they have a team together?
Yeah, there's rumors there.
Right. So
Just
they
gotta look a little bit.
right. Well, I'm not looking a little bit. I'm not looking even a little bit.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it to
Don't
be
give a
reported on. I would imagine that this team is going to be towards the bottom of EMEA because they've lost Kayak, and I don't know who their 5th is, so I can't rate them properly at all. But they have a core of a team that was like solid enough to be able to do some good damage in tier 2. And then Fluorescent's coming in, but Fluorescent hasn't had any experience with this team before. Unless their 5th is a superstar player, I can't really see how they would be above a lot of the other EMEA teams that have gone. A lot of the EMEA teams have gone like hard this year for making improvements.
But if we go off Red Bull home ground and do include that, a lot of the MEA teams. Shit.
Yeah. A play.
Who was that bad though? I mean, Fnatic were bad, but what were the other
Heretics
EMEA
didn't
teams?
turn
that
up.
were
Heretics.
bad?
will
Oh,
be
Heretics! You
bothered.
can't say Heretics were bad because they
Oh,
didn't
no.
turn up.
That's
crazy.
bad.
Oh, yeah,
They
no, they'll probably not turn up for
literally
VCT
didn't turn
games.
up.
Extrapolating out, they will actually forfeit 3% of their games during the VCT season. Where I think you kind of have to put them in the D tier as well.
Yeah.
that's fine.
I'm fine with high D.
It's gonna end
yeah.
up with all the Ascension team. Well, maybe not Simpreza. We'll get to them.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. Put them
Yeah.
all together. Why
But
not?
I think that's valid. That's going to happen majority of the time, apart from like
Yeah.
random, like one-off teams that are actually
Yeah.
I think that's the
legit.
expectation for Ascension, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, BBL, Sliggy's favorite team.
What?
BBL Sliggy.
Yeah,
We've all heard it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Go on.
This team did perform in the Red Bull home ground qualifiers. They ended up getting beaten, I think, by G2 eventually, but they also got. Oh no, they got beaten by
Got beat by
like
unicorns.
Permitter Unicorns. Yeah. I think they're going to be an incredibly fun team to watch, but I don't think they're going to be that good. Oh, that's unfortunate. No records in VLR. Yeah, I would put this team, I think, in the D tier as well, like at the top of the D tier.
Yeah, I think the team's not too bad with a bit of time. It just comes down to Yampy's calling. I would put him in C.
Do you
I'm
feel
down with
similarly
C.
about this team and like, because I thinking about your like thought process previously, Sliggy, if I had a EG or Cloud9 or something, I actually would feel confident about them beating BBL, or at least being the favorites in a game against BBL.
Sure, but okay, so if I looked at all of these teams right now, I think they would be bottom of C, because I feel like they would be everyone in D, but I would probably say they're underdogs and everyone was C.
I could agree with that.
Okay,
Same.
all right, I can live with that. Fnatic, TMV, how many points are you taking off them based on their performance this weekend?
Yeah, put them in D.
Shut the fuck up. Fnatic, they've got an F in them, so presumably they're going in the F tier according to you.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
You couldn't really justify putting this team. Could you justify putting this team in the S tier based on their performances last year? Like if we were
No.
just ranking the Fnatic of last year, they won
Well-
titles, they made it to international events, they got good wins.
Why
you
would
don't
you
have to do
that?
too much more.
Internationals, though, they were. I don't know, but are we just judging them based on like, oh, they won tournaments before, so anything less than that we kind of associate with disappointment.
They changed a lot since then. I think we can't.
Yeah,
put
I
them, we
think-
can't put them in S.
Right, but
It's
is
a
that
very
where,
different
I'm just
team.
saying, is that the baseline from last year?
Interesting. Would I put them in S from last year?
Yeah.
I-
I think they might have had to go at the bottom
Yeah.
of S.
Yeah, bottom of S, high
Ooh, let's say
A.
high A, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Alright,
say
so
high
how-
A.
So then how
But
far's
then
the
now-
fall this year?
Yeah, now on top with Durka. And we haven't had confirmation that Leo's like good.
Right.
Shut up, D tier. You can't be putting them in the D tier.
No,
At
I put them-
minimum, they'd be B tier. Like, if you were the
Yeah, yeah.
lowest on them you could
Yes.
be,
No,
you
no,
would put them in
they're
B
gonna
tier.
get Leo back. Leo is one of, if not the best player in the world. They're at least,
Yeah,
they're
I
at least
would agree
A in
with
my
that.
opinion. With Leo, they are at least A.
Yeah,
What
with
happens if Leo
I
can't
would
come
Put
back?
Leo and 4 chairs out there, and it's A tier.
What happens if they have to scramble last minute before the season and Leo isn't
Well,
able?
Right. I
And my
mean, we
D-tier
don't know
prediction.
that.
No, we
Yeah.
don't know that. We don't know that. But also, Sayonara can't be their standard. They're
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
running this season with a player that
Right.
cannot be their standard throughout the season if Leo at any point has to come out of the roster. So that's a bit of a concern. I think they have to go in A, though. I agree with you.
I'm
think,
fine with A.
I think A is safe. And then it's
Yeah,
like,
low end of A. Yeah.
I think they have to go
Yeah.
above MIBR, personally.
Yes.
Because we just have so many unknowns about MIBR.
Okay.
It's like,
yeah.
that's fair.
Fair.
I'm actually fine with this for sure.
Next one's easy.
okay,
What
Foot.
are the low A tier team? They are that is what they are. Put them there. Don't. Next. Gentlemates.
They're so consistent that we all agree. That's crazy.
I think they're right there or maybe top of B. Like, I think that's exactly where they should be, though, in terms of a tier list like this.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, easiest 30 seconds we've ever done on the Turkish team, and the Turkish fans are molding. All right, Gendel mates. This is so different compared to the previous years. But also, this is one of the teams where I'm out of my depth the most because I don't know very much about these tier 2 players coming up. So their roster, for anyone who's forgotten, is Click Duelist, Zipan Flex, Robbie BK on Initiator, Cadavra Smokes, Mini Sentinel. Now, I could tell you about 3 of those players. Nope. Sorry, I lied. 2 of those players.
2. Yeah, I could tell you about 2.
I really am out of my depth talking about any of the others. So
It's not bad, but I would say that they're like near the same as BBL. Maybe I would actually put them under BBL. Just considering, like, I would maybe put him at the end of C here.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
the team's not too bad; they got potential, but it's like I can't see
They
them.
all kind of have to like perform to a good level.
Yeah.
And the likelihood is that at least some of those tier 2 players coming up, aren't gonna, be what light the world on fire. Maybe one or two of them does.
Do you
maybe.
think? Sorry. What I was going to ask is, do you think it's a little strange that like an untested team like Gentle Mates with tier 2 talent, we're putting above a tested and they did succeed team like 2G?
Not really, just because it's. I felt like that
2G again. You're playing with the 2G thing is they have a sub for half
Yeah,
the
yeah,
season. So
yeah.
we're based
Yeah.
on the whole season then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a big
Okay.
part of it. It's like the first 5-6 months, right?
Yes, it's going to be
Yeah.
a long period of time before they can get Spike in.
Mm.
All right. Okay, so moving on. Giant X. I actually feel pretty good about Giant X.
So do I.
I think they should be a B tier team.
Honestly, wow, dude, I do agree, but then I look at our C tier teams and I'm just like, well,
I mean, our C tier is starting to get more stacked because you guys wouldn't move up fucking Wolves and BLG into the B
but
tier.
C9 and EG should be above them. That's the thing. Because C9 EG are middle of the C pack, so we're completely wrecked. Because there's no way there's no way we can put Giants above C9 and EG, but they.
Is there no way?
Giants, you don't think there's any way we can put them above those teams?
You think Giants would beat C9?
I
it would
think
be
they'd have
fairly close.
I think they'd have a shot of beating the C9. Or
A shot.
I would say it's a coin
Like
flip
what?
game. I would say it's a straight coin flip.
Okay, well then
Really?
that means
I
they
don't
should
know.
be in the C tier. Like,
Yeah,
actually,
that's
you've
what I
talked me
think.
down from my excitement about Giants. I had them as my dark horse, but I'm thinking about like the upside. I'm not thinking about the like average.
I think Cloud9 is just clouding our vision because they did well at Red Bull, and as we know, they're off-season fraud. They're off-season champs, through-season frauds. Even Sliggy thinks that.
Yeah, but their
Cloud9
team's
also-
good. Their team's good. I agree that they do better in off-season events, but I still think they're better than all of these C-tier teams.
Look, I'm happy to take Wolves to Cloud9 up into the B tier and put Giants at the top of C.
Dude, he's trying to sneak Wolves up into B tier, man.
I'm okay with that. No, I'm not. Wait,
You
no, I'm not.
argued, you idiot, for these two Chinese
I know,
teams
but
to
the
be
problem
in
is-
B tier.
no, the
Now you
pro-
know I had Cloud9 in, and you're just a fucking hater.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Is that again? I feel like you're getting clouded by recent performances too much. Like,
Dude,
if
look at their
C9
team.
again,
It's nice.
But-
No, but I think Cloud9
this-
is nice. I think B is a good tier to be a team where it's like they're exciting, but we just don't think they're going to perform to their best every single time. You know what
I think
mean? Like,
Cloud9 over the course of an entire season are going to get held back a little bit by other teams getting more value from spots where like Zeppa or Moose are playing mostly. I think the Zeppa's a bit like up and down, and I think that there are other Sentinel players that are like they just have much. I don't hate Moose at all. I just think that there are other Sentinel players
Sounds
that
like
are
you
like star players. No, but it can be a star role.
Crazy
yeah, it
instigator.
absolutely.
Whereas I think that Moose is like one of those Sentinels that just does his job extremely consistently and well for the team. But
Sounds like a B tier kind of.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
sounds
know about all that.
consistent, you know?
Sounds kind of like
Okay,
consistent.
well, there's no way that I can put Giants over C9, so they got to go
I'm
like
with
next to
that.
them or something.
Okay, I think that that's okay. But also now we've just all Kurt's done is surreptitiously slide Wolves and Billy down the order. We've
Yeah.
lost China
Put
stock
fucking Wolves
again.
back up there. You know what? Put Wolves in A.
Wolves and Billy are going to be better than Cloud9 over the course of the year.
That's crazy.
Really, dude?
I
don't know
I
where
think they are.
the faith for Billy comes in.
But you agree on Wolves, Chobra.
Oh, not to A.
No, yeah, he just knows
But
he
to
can't argue
B-
with you.
I think they could be better than Cloud9.
Good enough for me. Put them in B. Great. Heretics, S tier, I think.
Wait, can I real quick? Who is on the Giants roster? We just ranked them. I
Oh,
couldn't-
yeah,
I don't
okay.
know who's on their roster. I just
So
wanna
the
know.
roster for people who are like
Not paying
her,
attention.
Because
forgotten
I
about
know
it. No,
like
no.
most of the Valorant community is huge Giant X fans, but for those that don't know,
they are one of the most forgettable orgs in the entire scene. It's Westside, who's probably going to be playing Duelist for them. Purpo, who has been hanging around the scene for a long time, used to be a sub for like Gambit, is going to be playing
Was there
flex
last
for
year?
them. Yeah. Cloud is going to be picking up IGLing and playing Initiator for them, presumably. Tomaji has joined, and I would be assuming that he's going to be playing Smokes with Runner on Sentinel. That's what I'm assuming that roster's going to look.
Ah, it's a good roster.
I think it is a good roster.
It's a B tier roster
Yeah.
up there with C9, I would say. Yeah.
I
you
think
son
it's
of a
soft. Dude, we have so many agendas.
I don't know why I'm randomly on the C9 thing. I just think they've been done dirty.
I was
even know
honestly
where I
fine
had
with
them
that.
team.
I
Would
was
you
fine
have-
with it.
Would you
Put
have
them in
been going to bat for C9 if they hadn't played this tournament? I'm not saying if they
Absolutely not.
played badly in this tournament.
But
I'm
they
just saying they
didn't
didn't
play
play.
it.
Okay, but I'm sure. But did they get an upgrade from last year? Quite a hefty one in my books, and they looked
Yes.
okay last year. Like they nearly
awful
got to
last year.
champs.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is that if
Okay.
they didn't play, I might have been higher on these guys in terms of just excitement. Like not like a
You're
whole
crazy.
tier jump, but like from low P to high P. So,
It's
I
fine.
think they're yeah.
If C9 are here, let's just leave them here. But we've got to put Giants next to them. Even though this is a nice roster, and I think they did great.
Okay. All right. I'm fine with it. Let's just keep moving on. Somehow Wolves have slipped into big.
What do you
and
mean?
We'll just ignore that.
Yeah,
We'll just ignore that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kurd, you're such a traitor to the cause.
Yeah,
Heretics,
Heretics
have to
A,
be an S tier,
Heretics
and
S,
yeah.
also
S
they
tier.
have to be, I
Yes.
think, top of S tier actually.
Ooh.
Because
Send it.
last year they would have been top of the S tier. Like if we were just
Yeah.
doing it based on last year's rankings, they were a better team than EDG over the course of the entire year.
for the whole year.
But-
Yeah,
but
for the whole
that's-
year.
But that's just because of the change. They didn't have Simon.
No, but that's
I mean,
also
there's an
because you
argument both
only see
ways.
one tournament with Simon.
Mm-hmm.
If they had Simon the entire year, the chances of EDG outperforming
good.
Heretics every single time are so unlikely.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Because of the consistency of Heretics.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think
No, I'll give
Heretics
it
have
that.
Yeah.
earned their spot
Yeah.
at the top of the S tier. Will
Heretics
they
is
do
more
that again?
reliable.
I have no idea, but like I think they've earned the respect.
Yeah, no, you sold me. That's
Yeah,
good.
Okay.
Carmen
Oh, this
Corp.
one will be interesting.
Oh boy.
Ooh la 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 la. I was excited for this team.
Wait, but we're gonna ignore what we've seen, right? We're just gonna
Oh,
pretend.
We
But
haven't
it-
even seen anything.
It's fine. They ban Haven. They're gonna be okay. There's got a good. Wait, are they gonna be
I
good
feel
off
like
the
I'm in
bat?
therapy.
I'm not sure.
I feel like I'm in
sure.
therapy.
I was about to say they're gonna be good off the bat. I'm not actually sure they're gonna be good off the bat.
Yeah.
I'm sure the
I-
Angle cook up some strats and they'll be
If
good.
I'm just looking at this
Just
roster
like
on
last year.
paper, if I'm not looking at how they've actually performed, I'm thinking this should be a top 4 squad or like fighting for top 4, like top 4, top 5 in EMEA.
Yes.
Oh, in
Not in the
EMEA,
world,
okay,
not in
I
the
thought-
world,
oh,
Chobra. Your
jeez.
eyes were about to pop out your head. No, in EMEA. I think having watched them play, my thoughts on that are getting clouded slightly because I wasn't as impressed with how the team identity was coming together or Avez's role within the team was really being like empowered. Can they fix that? Maybe. But
B.
well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, dude, even if I was on the Carmen Corp train super high, I think I would only have them at like top B, low A tier. I wouldn't have them like miles above foot, for example. So
I agree. I think
I think this is fair because I would have them above Giants, even though Giants probably could upset them. But I think like roster wise, bit of time.
I think this might be underrating 100 Thieves and Crew.
I
where
would
we've
put them more to the
currently
right.
got-
Yeah, I'm not putting
Yeah.
them above Crew.
Yeah.
God, you love Gru.
I think
Crew I gotta do.
This
Crew
is
are gonna be
crazy,
good.
man.
I think this is even still quite like hyped on Carmen Corp.
Yeah, I think this.
I
I think
agree.
this is kind of fair considering
this
how
is us
how they've
believing in
looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
is
is
how
us
they've looked
believing
is
on
good.
them, but not like je suis un animal, like pounding our chest and screaming in French. Koi.
Kurt, where you? Kurt had an agenda here. Like, what?
I have no
Koi-
idea what to think of Koi.
Koi were their roster isn't that bad. They've got some shooters.
You want to
But-
remind the people of their roster?
Yeah,
again?
okay,
Just
so
the
their
people who
roster-
aren't quite the biggest Koi fans.
Yeah, so for anyone who's not down with the fish,
You really
Uh,
think people love Spanish Valorant? Like,
Filu is their duelist player. They got Soulcast from Apex, who's going to be playing flex for them. Shados was playing their initiator role for this team. And then they have Flyer, IGLing, who transitioned to a Smokes role most recently, from what we've seen from them. And Grabinho was playing Cypher, the Sentinel stuff. They do have flexible players, so it's possible that some of those roles could change. But that's what they were doing most recently.
The mad thing is, if you look at this roster, like those players at their peak, it's actually pretty solid.
It's quite good.
But are they all relatively inconsistent players from what we've seen? I think so. Like all 5 of them. Actually, I don't know enough about Flyer, to be fair. I would say 4 of them I know are inconsistent.
I think Flyer's been fairly inconsistent as well, though, because I think that when you see him at his best, he really is like a talent. And then his average level isn't quite that all the time. So I don't know that inconsistent is maybe the right label there, but he can't always play in the way that you see him in his best games. But his best games are really a very decent tier 1 level, I think.
Okay.
So
I mean, they're better than Apex. So
They're better than
above
Gentle
that.
Mates.
I think. Do you think they're better than Gentle Mates? Because I don't know enough about Gentle Mates to know
I
whether
would
they
put
would
them.
be.
I
But
would
maybe.
put them in around that BBL.
I think those
Yeah.
3 as a group is
I'm
good.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Oh,
Dude,
We are
I-
tending to group together the teams from the same
Region.
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 Yeah, because
we'll,
I think
we'll have
it's
to mix them up.
all right. Navi then. So for
think
anyone who
it's-
hasn't been keeping track of Navi, because they haven't been making any announcements, Alpha was on Tarek's stream and was talking about Hero going to Navi. He didn't know whether he'd leaked it or not, and so he was like, "Oh, I don't know. I was just guessing. I'm just guessing." So the Navi roster is Koala Noob on Duelist. Angel, I assume, is going to actually be playing Flex for this team, but I don't really know.
amazing.
You've got Xiao, who's probably still going to be playing Smokes, Ruxic, and then Hero, who I assume is going to be playing Senti. But again, some of those roles might be super different. Maybe, yeah, I don't really know. Sorry, I said Xiao was going to be continuing to play Smokes. I think Xiao is probably going to be playing Initiator for this team, sorry. And then we have Ruxic playing Smokes. It's an odd collection of players, considering that Angel's only ever really called with like one long-standing core before. I don't know what to think about this.
Yeah, I have
Speechless.
I have no
Speechless.
idea about this team.
It could be anywhere.
Yeah, I think if you want to believe that the synergy can work, maybe you put them like mid to low B, but if not high C, that's where I would stand. It's a matter of like how much do you weigh in on the actual potential versus the uncertainty.
They should be being like BBL. I think.
I think they're like
I'm
one
not,
of
That's the thing,
I'm
this
not
team-
100%
This
sure.
team,
It's just
I
so
wouldn't
hard.
shock me if they created, but it wouldn't shock me if they were making
Yeah.
internationals either.
Yeah,
Yes, they
like they've
really
always
feel like
been.
a.
I actually have no idea where to put these guys.
I think they should be around the BC tier kind of area. Like I would even go safer and go C rather than B.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
But I think they should
We
be
have C9 and C,
up
so I'm
there.
down with Navi and C.
I think they should be around where Loud and EG are.
Low wolves.
Dude, I have so little faith in this team. They lost Doom Bros and
Go on,
haven't done
Kurt. Go on.
anything since.
Do
They
it.
got rid of
No.
Doom Bros
Kurt.
after having a great stage 1. They got
I think we should
super
let Kurt
unlucky.
do one
They
team.
got rid of their coach and then they just cratered. And that's
It
where
is
they are right
insane.
now. Like,
on,
oh,
Kurt,
man,
put 'em in
I
D.
am not a fan
Yeah,
of
he wants to
Loud.
put him in D. I can hear it.
Come on.
Just as an
They-
org.
They signed Happy as the coach.
Happy and Koala, yeah.
So they've got a duo from M80, the coach and the
Yeah.
main duelist. And Happy has, I mean, I don't know. How do you rate Happy as a coach? I feel like he's probably going to do a decent job with this team. I think he's also a forceful enough personality to be able to play off
Tell
Angel
to
fairly well.
tell
Yeah.
him to shut up.
So, yeah, I agree with Kurt that it was bonkers stupid to get rid of Doom Bros. Like, insane guy in a suit says, we need to make a change. Fire the coach. But I don't think that means they're going to be bad next year.
Yeah, I would put him near to Giants, I guess. Maybe above Wolves, just to piss off TMB.
Yeah, right there, right there.
It's okay.
Right,
I know
Pablo.
Kurt's got me. He's got at the end of this. He's gonna put Wolves where they belong, top of the A tier.
Liquid.
Why are you swapping him with Nova? What did Nova do?
Liquid. So
we
for
go,
anyone who hasn't been
Sliggy.
keeping track again, this is Camo, who I think is going to be playing Duelist for them. Paditek, they signed. The 6-man from Heretics, so presumably playing Flex. Kamek, Initiator. Kiko, we think, has made a swap over to playing Smokes for the team. And Nats IGLing from the Sentinel position. Again, some of these are just assumptions on what role people are going to be playing. But there's some stuff to be excited about there. And there's some things that I still have very big questions about. Like the idea of Nats IGLing from Senti, I really don't know too much about how well that's going to work. I don't think I was massively impressed with the IGLing at the end of the season, but it's not like I think he transitioned kind of late, right? It wasn't like he had a huge amount of time, so maybe he's going to get a lot better at it. But he's also their star player on this team, probably. So if it drops his level off at all, yeah, it's a weird way to construct a roster. I think they'll be hoping that
come
Camo
on,
pops.
tell us where to put him.
Why are we?
You
putting
just
so
want to
much
be
pressure on me?
silent. You just want to be silent.
Yeah, I was gonna listen to the takes and just take it all in. I think if we're being honest, it's like one of those rosters that is similar to the others, where we don't really know how they're going to perform. Where it's just like a lot of tier 2 players, a lot of unknowns in terms of the gelling. We don't know if they're gonna like perform well. But I mean, Patty's been pretty good as well. I would put him like above BBL. That's more like where I'm gauging. Like if I look at the team on paper, it's like similar to Giants, but it's better than BBL, I guess, on paper. But I don't know if you would agree.
I would definitely put them behind EG though. So I think if we're going to put them in this spot, I agree. But I also feel like there is a problem here where we probably should have shifted some of the C tier teams down to D tier. Like I feel like there might be a cutoff at EG Liquid where we move the rest down to top D tier.
You're right. Just put C9 up to B, and then we can put the others down.
We're about to fill up the higher ranks because Chober is about to get to Pacific. So those top 3 are about to get filled with Pacific teams, I'm sure.
Okay.
How have you moved up Cloud9? Boys,
You just snuck
boys
it in.
are rotting now.
just snuck it in.
Wolves are better than BLG, by the way, as well. Definitely.
I think they will be over the course of the year.
Yeah,
I think they will.
Kurt, get on it. BLG, Wolves.
You guys need to work together. I'm just here, man.
Vitality. Let's do the last.
Still haven't moved.
Let's do the last EMEA team. Let's do the last EMEA team.
Get him. Put a pressure on him. Put him in there.
Put him in S,
It's a
yeah.
super team. Let's see what you got.
Yeah,
It does
I'm
have to be
fine
an
with
S tier
them
team.
on
Yeah.
S. Yeah,
Pressure's on.
I don't know.
I would put him in the middle. I can't put him above G2.
yeah, because
Yeah,
G2 is a
fine.
very known quantity, whereas Vitality,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
They're like the
I can respect
Leviathan
that.
of this time last year.
Yeah.
You know, where there's a
Yes.
lot of
Yeah.
Yep.
expectation, but a
That's
lot
fair.
of unknown.
Yeah, I think that's a very apt comparison. All right, let's do the Pacific teams then. So straight into the S tier. Boom. No, I think Boom bless them are one of those teams that are just fucking living for like every day's their last. They're just enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
are
follow
they?
their
I think
Twitter.
they're probably desperate to just prove themselves, right? I mean, they got snuck in. You know, they played well at Ascension, but they got snuck in. I would put them at D, personally.
So I think they had a really good performance in Ascension, but I think that's like the peak of what they can
Yes.
reach. And then if
Yeah.
I compare that with everyone else that plays at this level, they're an F.
The,
Like, I get that they have I get that they have like a
dude, I love this.
like, they got DOS9 in, right?
Yes.
Who I don't really know much about, so maybe
No, but I
that's
know
like
you're
a-
an expert on
change of that.
Kazakhstani Valorant.
Yeah, you know, I follow the scene all the time. But from what we've seen of how Dust9 played at Ascension with Revenant, I mean, I think he's just going to be much more reliable than Zespiu. And I think he just does bring more consistent firepower. I agree. Listen, I did not rate Boom highly at Ascension, but because of the home ground, I thought they would play to their peak. So I did think they would get to the finals somehow, which they did. And I would say that they overperformed in the finals. And then, I mean, they also admitted that they weren't on top of the meta, so like at least they're aware of that, which was very clear. So like, at least they're gonna try to make adjustments there. So like, okay, like I'm fine with that. But from what we saw just recently, where they played GE as well, they're still playing like a really, really, really good challengers team, right? Like they're playing where if they're not challenged, like they'll win because they have good firefights, but they're playing with so many assumptions that I think once they are challenged at a macro level, that they're going to struggle.
The problem that I have with the tier list, I actually agree with where Kurt's put them, which is roughly where, like here above JDG and over. The problem with this is, what the fuck are Furia doing? Like, look at Furia just there in the midst.
They're there for fun.
Just in the midst of the Chinese teams. I just want to showcase.
Someone has to get sacrificed.
Six Chinese teams at the bottom of our tier
Well, yeah,
list,
that's
broken up
wrong.
only by
That's
Furia.
fucking dog shit wrong. But
I agree. That's
not.
wrong.
It's not wrong. They got the game late. Like no joke. No, I'm being deadly serious. If you took the bottom Chinese teams and put them against the other regions, they would get pretty wrecked.
I think that this year might be wrong, though. I think we might see a big improvement.
I mean,
All right,
we're
but
seeing
not
a
from
big improvement,
not from
but
these
it's
six teams
still-
at the bottom.
Yeah.
I think
No,
it's
but
the,
I think the,
it's
no,
the
I think
six
the
teams at
whole
top.
fucking region might. I think with EDG winning champs,
Yeah, I think that is a big
I
impact.
think that's going to be a catalyst for like, oh fuck, we're actually. I think that even if they are dog shit, and they were, don't get me wrong, but I think it will make the rest of them think like, okay, our best team can actually win an international tournament, like fucking win champs, like, and I think the rest of them are going to be like, oh shit, we got to actually try.
All right, well let's move on to do the
Anyway.
rest of the Pacific.
Anyway,
we can go back and
they're at the
readjust.
bomb. So are Fiori.
DFM recently beat EDG, so S tier.
A.
Whoa.
A
Actually,
tier?
no,
Listen,
sorry, not A.
I'm willing to put them in low B, but that's riding the hype. Like that's riding the hype that's currently being shown in the offseason.
I was joking. I mean, the hype has surely gotten to you guys, hasn't it? Has it addled the brains?
I bought the
DFM are not going to
bundle.
be. DFM are not going to be a B tier team this year.
Okay, so
I think
I
that's-
just think that I do think that May is actually something special. I used to not.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
now he is going to be enabled enough where while it will be considered upsets, he will just consistently enough punch above their weight to prove that they can hang in B tier. That's where I stand.
I think we're looking at a C tier team, even if they're doing all of the things you're talking about. I don't think they're going to be B tier. I think you look at the teams that we did shift things around a little bit, but like again, we still have Loud and EG and these kind of teams and Wolves in the C tier. I think
That's true. DFM can't be better than Wolves,
I mean,
so.
okay, so in that sense, sure. Like I would
some
group
good
them with
teams in the
Loud.
C
I would
tier.
group them like in this general area of Loud. So I guess I can agree with that.
Kurt, you fucking monster.
yeah, like I might put them above a Liquid.
Yeah, I like that place.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
fine.
That's fine.
I'm not going too. They lost to Zeta in the last tournament. You know, they looked a bit rough around the edges. It
Yeah,
looks like they're
yeah.
making improvements and coming together, but I'm not ready
Listen, I know I only have so
jump
many
in
tokens and I'm not using them on DFM, so we
Okay,
can move
okay.
on.
Okay. We've all been given a veto, like we're members of the G8. DRX. So here's another intriguing team because they have mostly like a rookie roster now. Gunmin, Athan, Flashback is not a rookie, but
It's
like
a ton
becoming a
because it's
Oh,
Leviathan.
it's a ton. Oh, sorry, a ton.
Jesus.
I hate it. I hate it, but
Mako.
it is what it is.
And freeing as well. They've changed their roles around since the last time I saw them too.
Yeah, which I do think
Oh,
is much better.
Is Mako IGLing still? I thought
No,
I saw
so
it.
this is what I
they
was gonna
tried
say.
freeing,
Yeah,
Oh,
they
really?
were trying freeing for this Asia Invitational
Oh.
tournament.
and
At the moment-
Mako's
at the
fragging.
moment- Yeah, at the moment freeing's
would've thought?
IGLing and fragging, and Mako's fragging.
Yes.
I don't know. Does this team just always somehow perform, even though they have like untested or like tier 2 players?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think this is a team where, as intangible as it is, I think now after 4 years, we all have to, whether you love it or hate it, you have to come to the agreement that Termi and Glow and Argency just know how to train people up to a certain standard, right?
They know how to get you to fit 6 and
Exactly.
no higher.
dude,
they know
that's
they know how to
hard.
get into that
That
bracket
is hard.
and get tested against the best teams. You know what I mean? So I mean, because here's the thing: like in the beginning of the offseason, like when it was announced, I was like, okay, that's exciting, but I think it's going to take some time. I said that last year, and both times, so quickly, they're able to get the new guys into their system. Whether you think the system is good or not is a whole different, story. But I think they're very good at that.
No,
I definitely agree. I think that they should get a lot of credit for what you're saying, for bringing teams up to like a very good standard. And to
We're
me,
about
that
to see
standard,
no timeouts in any
that's-
off-season tournament ever.
the standard that they're playing at or should be playing at is around a B tier standard.
Yeah. Also,
Like,
Termi now has the married buff, so like he's going to be a much happier man, and hopefully that'll make the team happier as well. So we'll see how they perform.
we're going B.
I think
I
think
oh,
a
I would
decent,
put them
What are you talking, Joe, bro?
like
There you
higher
go, hit
B,
those tokens,
higher
though.
higher B. Listen, I'm picking my battles. I'm not going to go crazy.
I think that's kind of fair. Like
I agree.
honestly, it's so hard to ignore what they consistently do with different rosters each time. Like the coaching staff is proven to just kind of perform. Like last year was like a miracle run. Are we okay to say
True.
that?
Bold.
Yeah.
Over 100 Thieves is too high.
Overcrew is too high, but this is fine.
No, I think Overcrew is perfect.
Yeah. Sure, I'll accept this battle.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh,
the,
wow,
the
okay.
crew,
Wow.
the crew apologist has given up the fight.
Yeah.
Gen.G. This is a team that was
S
undeniably
tier.
top of S tier last year, and now have made a couple changes. They've lost Meteor. That's a
Big.
massive,
But they've
massive
gained
blow.
Yo-Man.
True,
Oh.
but that
What?
doesn't offset Meteor, I think.
Yes, I agree, because I think Meteor was actually like the glue for a lot of the year for Gen.G. So I agree. But I think Foxy9 is proving that the gap isn't going to be as big as you fear. Like I think Meteor is still like so far above, but I think Foxy9 is going to be good enough that people aren't going to always be crying for Meteor, if that makes sense, right? Like,
I'm an
there's just gonna be certain
insane
moments.
Foxy9 hater. I think the gap is going to be enormous. I think
What the hell, man? What is he ever? Dude, he's just a kid who loves Valorant and likes tens.
maybe
what's the problem?
Good
that's
for
the
you.
root of the issue.
Yeah.
Maybe we've clashed on a fundamental philosophical problem. No, I think
Yeah,
that
Sideshow
every-
hates 10s as well.
Yeah,
I've watched-
Jesus, you're really doubling down on this one.
I've watched years of Foxy9 play, and I haven't seen the evolution of him as a player. And I also don't really think that he's got it within him to replace a star, like maybe not even star, maybe superstar level player in Meteor on the Sentinel role. I think the gap is going to be noticeable this year because you're looking at the same team and expecting that to come from somewhere. And I don't think that's what Yeoman is ever going to do. Yeoman's never going to do that. He's going to play the same kind of thing
Counterpoint.
as Lucky.
Oh.
Plays for the clutch.
I don't think the meta is going to favor like 1-4 superstar sentinels though, like almost ever again as heavily, right? And I think I would also credit Solo and HSK a lot in figuring out a system where they decided this is what we're focusing on for the meta, and we're going to try to just work around that for every single map and every single meta throughout the year because it's going to be consistent enough, right? So for this year, it was like heavy 1-4 defaults and heavy rotates by pushing out for info. And then in the beginning of the offseason, immediately they just say, they look at the patch notes and say, okay, Astra buff, Omen looks great, Astra Omen everywhere, and that mitigates the need for heavy Sentinel superstar play. Now, obviously, Omen's been changed, so who knows? But what I'm trying to say is I think you also have to consider the coaching staff similar to DRX, where like, I know it's only been 1 year, but it was a very successful and consistent year for them.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
still have a lot of that there, and I do think
Yeah.
Yeoman Valakia, from what I'm seeing at the moment, is like an upgrade as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. They were very, very, very consistent. I think we have to put them in S and just believe in it.
Yeah, you arguing that they're not an S tier team. It feels like we're just.
No,
we
no,
do-
no, no, no. Sorry, I'm not arguing based
so-
on the tier list necessarily. I was just arguing the minutiae of it. But I do think that you can't put them top of S tier anymore.
No, I would
Not-
put
not
them
the
below
top.
G2.
I'm fine with below G2.
Is
Maybe
there an
above
argument for
G2?
being below Vitality?
A very
Nah.
intangible
This is-
argument, I think.
No, put him there.
Not
That's a
until
hype
we,
argument.
Not until we
That's a
see
hype
something.
argument.
Well, yeah, obviously we haven't seen Vitality at all, but is the
I think that
expectation for
argument
Vitality
rests-
to really become like fifth best?
I mean, they should be winning something. I feel like everyone in S tier believes they should be winning something this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Reasonable.
And
Okay.
I think all those teams are very, very close to each other, right? It's
The people in the chat, I'm sure, have been waiting with frothing mouths and
Wait, cut.
insane,
Yeah,
from
bro,
Kurt. Insane
bro.
from Kurt. It's global esports. Where are we putting global esports?
Okay, so I watched a fair amount of their off-season events. I feel like there's a lot to learn, but at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of good signs. So I think the calling has been looking like really, really good.
at the GE face-off.
Yes, yeah. I think let me specify. I think the original call before the barriers go down is really good. I think the mid-rounding could be a little bit better. But I don't know. I kind of think that this team is gonna do all right. It's still like I would compare it with like some of the EMEA teams that we don't like really know about, like more that pack. But I feel like Udatan is a god. Like Udatan's really good, by far the best player, I would say. Patrick seems a little bit inconsistent. Crystal's fragging heavy, so I don't know. I'm kind of okay with this team, but I would put him more in the like areas of where we have like BBL and stuff.
Do you think they're going to end up
Always
being
comes back
better?
to BBL with Sliggy.
Do you think they're going to be better than Boom over the course of the year?
Yeah.
Despite the fact they
Yeah.
lost to them here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
So are they going to be a
Obviously.
tier above Boom? Because
Yeah.
at the moment, we've got
Really, we're
Boom
that
in the
confident that they're
D
going to
tier.
be better than Boom?
I mean, look.
Yeah.
Wait, but okay, how much of this are you weighing in on the trust in the coaching staff? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean, I did a podcast with their assistant coach
Yes.
for like 2
Yeah.
years, so yeah,
Yeah.
I have faith. I've got faith
Okay.
in my boy.
Yeah,
My boy
listen,
Elevate.
that's the only thing. Like, that's what keeps me, because I want to have faith in both of the coaches on the coaching staff, which would bump them up a bit more. But man, what I'm seeing is just like having good calls before the round. I don't think is going to mean that much moving forward, because everyone's just learning the game faster, and also that just means that you're like really good at set plays and adjusting from the previous round and knowing what set play counters that. But if like it's taking you time to set that up, and you need to basically get set up, it's like the old Vision Strikers problem where it's like,
But
well,
if
you're
the
allowed to
maps
do it, the set
change
play's
every
really
month,
good.
Chobra, then you only need set plays. No one has seen them before.
That okay? That's fair. You know what? All right, that was a big one. That was a big one.
So
We're arguing for C tier, Chobra. We're not
But
wolvesing this shit. This
do you think they're
C
going?
tier.
Okay, if they were in the C tier,
Yep.
right? Do you think that they would be a tier above Koi, Genomates, that kind of team? Because
I think that they
I
will
think-
probably start off a bit shaky, but I think by the end of the season they can be a solid team.
I think our C tier is blending with our D tier super heavy in that middle there.
but I would say that they would start, like, I agree that I think they'll improve. Like, I have faith. I would want to. I'd be disappointed if they didn't. But I would say they would start like somewhere random within D and then reach a very solid spot of C. You know what I mean? In 1 year. 1 year is not a long time. Like, that's not taking anything away from them. It's just not a long time.
Depends on your
Yeah,
perspective.
I think
but
I'm
okay.
I think I'm like happy with them above everyone apart from maybe Koi, because I'm just like if Koi is the barrier, and then I'm like, well, Koi should probably beat them. But then I'm happy with them above everyone else. I don't know. It's hard because maybe Koi could be on C as well if they're all kind of playing at their form.
Mm.
So
Effort, put 'em there.
it's either like we
Lock 'em
move
in.
Koi and Global up to C, or
No.
we probably put we probably put them here.
Dude,
Harsh mistress. Crazy. Okay, what's the next team then? Whose bloody logo is that?
oh, baby. That's Nongshim.
Got the noodles.
Yeah.
That's
Nongshim
noodles.
Res Force.
that's
It's
the
a terrible
noodles.
logo.
Literally talked about this, by the way. Let's
Yeah.
go pull the curtain back. This was before the show. Kurt even said the fucking words. I have replaced Sinpreza's logo with this logo.
It's amazing that you think anything goes into my head and sticks. Like, I have no memory of anything prior to like 30 seconds ago. Pure goldfish vibes. All right, so this is Nongshim Red Force, right? That's the name of the
Yep,
the organization that's
And
presumably
this
going to be
isn't,
taken
like-
over from Sinpreza.
Yeah, it's not 100% officially
No.
confirmed, but
This is a report from e4equip.com. And I don't even really understand the rules of how this would have been allowed to happen. Like I thought you weren't allowed to sell.
They bought the org is the rule.
Yeah,
just
you
bought
can
the
buy
entire
the
org.
entire org.
Apparently
But
they
it
bought
just
the
so
entire
happens
org.
that SPG's org only had a Valorant team this time around.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
How
What a loophole.
convenient!
What a
Oh,
loophole.
how
Yeah.
convenient.
Dude, they got that noodle money.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, man.
Also, but they've changed. If they does change the logo, Simpreza's logo was so nice. And now we
Yeah, it
get-
was
I-
quite a good logo. It was a better logo than Non-Shim Red Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, Notion Red Force's logo stinks.
But the noodles are good. Are they
Oh,
slick?
they're
noodles are
really good,
great.
dude. Really
Yeah.
good.
They're solid.
Honestly, really, really good. They're
Where
up
would you
there.
rate the noodles on a tier list?
S.
S
Yeah,
tier,
yeah.
100%.
Honestly, yeah, they're like the NRG of noodles.
Okay.
Also, low S then.
Yeah, but there could be better ones. I'm not a food connoisseur, so I'm not gonna go say they're like the best of the best. Like they're maybe not the heretics, but they're definitely up there.
Okay. So where are we putting the team though? Because I feel like people are quite excited about this team.
Whackman A.
Hey, okay, you know what? Hey, all right,
Holy
all right. I don't
shit.
even need to do my job. Okay.
A tier. Wow.
I would not
I would've
have
said
them in
B,
the A
but-
tier. I would have them in the B tier. I would be okay with them being in like the middle of the B tier.
Well,
but
are they
I
better
like-
than DRX? I guess that's our question.
I think they can be, just because if we are sticking with the argument that maps are changing all the time, this is another team that innovates based on who they're playing and what they're playing against, and you won't be able to adapt to it in time before the map will changes.
How
Neon
good?
if Neon gets nerfed,
Yeah,
heavy,
that's
though.
what I was just about
Okay,
to say.
but-
How good is Dambi on stuff that isn't Neon?
Dambi was still a standout duelist. It's just that Neon made him nearly untouchable. Like his
Right.
jet was still really good. Like he caught my eye with his jet initially. I mean, the whole team was also just really good. So, and then the Neon was just like, okay, well now, like we all know they're winning Ascension because this Neon is just like literally out of this world.
I think that after DRX have put Flashback back onto Sentinel, I think I have more faith in DRX than I do in SPG. Just based on the fact that they've been able to get their teams to like such a good level all the time. And I don't know as much about
So I think
Nongshim Red Force's coaching staff.
this is, and I'm going to draw a lot of heat on this, I think, but I'm pretty sure Persia is going to challenge Mako.
Oh, I think Persia's a fucking freak.
Okay.
I think Persia's
Well,
I think Persia's the best player on that team.
What? No, I agree. But then, so like, what?
So then,
No, but I'm just saying
you think that they're
flashback on
fucking
Sentinel.
insane, and then you're gonna put them. You're arguing for A tier then.
No, I'm arguing for them being
fucking split
one step
personality.
behind DRX. One step behind DRX, just because you have a star player who's like could
Two
be the
star
best
players.
smokes player or a top 3 smokes player in the region
but
doesn't
I
mean
don't
that you're.
think No, but I don't think the gap between Persia and the other guys are that big. It's just that Persia's so consistent. I mean, within the team.
Persia's
I mean, within...
nutty. I think Dumby at the moment
No,
is
he is.
Neon abuser and is getting insane value out of that. But I think the best player is Persia.
I would
and
say that Francis
he
and Ivy are
stands
right
out.
behind him. I would say Francis and Ivy are right behind him, but like
okay.
Ivy's a really good like a team player. I think he just knows exactly what to support, whether it's trading or not. And then I think Francis IGLing I think is actually really good.
See, initially I was for B, but now I'm just like, why not?
I'd have him
Why
behind.
not put
Crew.
stick our neck
Why
out?
not?
Why not? Why not
Well,
just put our
Sideshow,
fucking
just
nuts on the line
imagine-
and say, put him in A?
Put him in
Imagine
A.
next year you're starting
not?
Plat Chat by introducing
Yeah.
Nongshim's new noodles. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Imagine the sponsorship opportunity.
The sponsor opportunity. Delete the VOD. We're starting again, and I'm just glazing Nongshim Red Force. Manscaped, thank you for sponsoring the episode, but we're off to Noodle Town. Want to make sure you don't have a hairy noodle? Nongshim and Manscaped are teaming up together to provide you with the perfect pack.
What is happening? I don't even know if TMV and Sliggy are serious about A though.
I'm a little bit serious, to be honest. I actually think they're really good, but I'm so
Yeah.
fine. I'm so
I'm just
fine with
saying, just do
B,
it.
like around crew.
I think B is the safe bet. I think A is the
There's
exciting
not
like,
enough
hype
teams
bet.
in A, so we can just move
Legit.
them in A, put Wolves in A, and it'll balance out.
if the neon meta stays, I could see them being like A easy. But
Yeah, but it's not. You know it's
yeah,
not.
no, we know that neon's getting enough, so it's like depending on how big it is. So I think a B is like safe.
All right. Okay. Let's go for paper Rex.
Get them up there.
S tier.
Oh,
Riot
not
has-
S tier.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. No. Hear me
Yeah.
out. Hear me out. Riot has gotten sick of Paper X throwing their lead every international, and they've made a patch just to buff them. All right, like this is
It is a
literally
good
Riot being
patch.
like, if you can't win with this patch, like you guys aren't winning anything. Like that's the setup here. Like they're gonna win something.
Dude, I agree with that as well. We
Yeah,
can't not
no,
put them in
dude.
S.
Dude, if they can't win with this patch, like there's a problem.
It is
Why
the
can't
perfect
we put
patch.
them in S? Sorry, why can't we put them in A? What's the problem with having them as the best team in the A tier?
Because they're too good for A.
How are they too good for A? We've got Leviathan in A. We've got
Yeah.
MIBR in A with Aspas. Like, these are good teams. We've got
Yeah, but there's-
Fnatic in A.
Yes, but they have unknowns. Paper X, we know very well how.
Yeah, we know that they're not gonna
consistent they
fucking win
can
an
be.
international. We know that's not gonna happen. Don't put him in S.
What did
Listen,
Paper
all I'm
X?
saying is literally Riot was like, hey, you know what we should buff is Sage's self heal because that's what she was meant to do. And Jing is out here smiling like, oh, everyone wants me to
Look, if they
change agents.
really wanted Paper X to win, they'd give Raze a second nade. That would be the patch to give fucking Paper
well, that'd be
X.
too obvious. Come on.
That would be too
I-
obvious.
I don't think they would be in our S tier based off what they did last year.
No.
No.
So
No, not
then
based
you're
off of
saying
last
that
year.
Nothing
they're
has
gonna
changed.
be
What do
better.
you mean
patch.
nothing has changed? They're playing.
The entire game has changed.
patch
Yeah, literally the entire game has
Patch
changed. They're trying to
match.
learn new actual comps in terms of stuff that makes sense.
Well, then
Like
that'll be
info-
bad for this patch.
Fucking-
No, but it won't. It won't. I'm not saying it's going to work. Is info?
Like fucking Reyna.
Is scan initiator ever going to be bad? Is info sentinel ever going to be bad? Consistently, no.
Is
throughout the
Reyna
whole
ever going to
4
be
years.
good?
Just to go
But
through what they've
literally,
run,
they
okay?
just put a sage
Their,
instead.
their Haven comp was double duelist, Raze Neon.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
did you-
just
Their
Yeah,
Abyss
Haven.
comp was Jet Rayner.
okay. So, but we're looking at
Their
the
split
off-season
comp
that we
was
said we were
exactly
gonna
the
ignore.
same, but you're saying that they've changed something. Where's the evidence?
Because they're playing something on scan initiator and then devise going info
Yeah.
sentinel. There's the evidence.
There's no scan initiator on their Abyss comp or their... Well, I mean, you wouldn't really play one on a split comp anyway, but Abyss with no scan initiator is really unusual.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Okay.
but they're still
But-
using it on different maps.
Look, we haven't flipped a coin yet. I think this
Yeah,
is
because
the
I
perfect
mean,
time.
I agree because I'm
Flip a
S.
coin.
Yeah, I'm S. I'm
I'm S.
big on Paper.
I'm not S,
Listen,
I'm A.
just so we're clear, I am the biggest generational Paper X hater on the Pacific talent
join us
pool,
on
and
it.
I'm
Come
putting them on S.
Yeah,
all
that's-
right, like
yeah.
that's how convinced I am.
It's crazy.
Get
You've
the
let the
coin, see what the
narrative rot
coin
your
thinks,
brain.
Kurt.
Okay. Wait, what are we saying? Kurt, you have to nominate it. Heads and tails. Which one's S?
Heads is S, tails is A.
Never
Oh,
fails.
really?
Never fails. Come on.
That's
Come on.
criminal. Sure.
Where in the A tier then? If the
Right at the top. Don't even
High
do
A
it.
then for sure.
you don't think
I'm fine with that. What you've lost
Yeah,
your
you're
fucking mind.
crazy, bro.
Where you want to put them in C?
I don't know.
Look,
no,
if you
no,
want to
no,
swap
no, no, no.
them with wolves, that's fine.
I'm just saying, Leviathan's roster.
Look,
Nah,
Chober,
no,
we,
yeah,
Chober
yeah,
as well. We
yeah.
know the S tier is about to get
we can't-
crowded.
We
so,
can't be doing this. We can't
so
be going.
you should be on for the A tier.
We can't be going. Oh, Lev didn't have a good performance last year. Like further champs isn't that good. And then when it comes to this, year, we're like, oh, but Lev actually had a pretty. Good
I said
year.
we said
are
said
cool?
Lev were like top 7, top 6, something like that last year of like all the teams in the world. They were like top 6, top 7.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know exactly, but it's like somewhere around there. Paper X did worse, didn't they?
Sure, but look at the patch of what's going
Look
on.
at that
No,
patch.
but also
Yeah.
they've been the same roster for who knows how long.
And
right?
how many
Exactly.
tournaments did they win?
Exactly. They've got the same roster for God knows how long. Are they improving, or are they?
But
are
with
we
that
just
roster, they
realizing
were
Yeah,
the,
they're
they were
learning.
the undisputable second best team in the world for a year, right? So like, you know, there's
Yeah.
some
Which
balancing
year?
to
Which
be
year
done
were they
here.
the undisputable? second best team of the
2022.
year?
You literally said you can't remember anything past 30
Yeah.
seconds. Don't argue with
2022
the
was
past.
Optic and Loud. It was not
No,
Paper
last year,
X.
2023.
2023 was
2023,
Fnatic
yeah,
and
so-
EG.
Okay, third.
Right, so they weren't the undisputed second best at any point in their history.
Okay, no. Okay,
Well,
fine.
no, it was
top three.
2022.
Disputable
2022,
second
They
best.
were third
EG
into. In 2022, they were
2022
third.
Optic Allowed.
Yeah, and they were
Right,
third.
it was third. Yeah, so it wasn't second.
okay,
I just want to call you up on that. Wasn't second.
I never
Never
said
been
second, to be
second.
fair.
They've
I-
never been the second best team in any year.
I never said that. But they're top of A tier. Let's move on.
Yeah, put him top of A.
Fuck
Yeah.
Now they're still getting overrated in my opinion.
That's madness.
RRQ.
Wait, just out of curiosity, where would you actually put them?
I actually don't know. I'm just kind of
was
gassing
gonna
it off.
say.
I don't know, but there'd be somewhere around there. There'd be somewhere around there.
Oh my god, you're making this massive deal.
No,
over nothing.
yeah, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. All right. Now this one may end up breaking our family. RRQ.
Dude, Ewok's got help. All right, what more do you need? Ewok's finally got
Okay.
help. You know, he's not gonna have to do literally everything in the world for all of his players the whole time. I also Cushy is looking real good, like better than I expected, and he was already pretty hyped. Like within the Indonesian scene, everyone was like, "This guy has to get picked up at some point. Like he's the next guy in Indonesia."
I think we should all rate the team, and Chobra, you just go non-verbal thumbs up or thumbs down with
He's
with our text.
constantly gonna do thumbs up. He wants it high.
I would say the RRQ probably like a top of C.
I would say they're actually a top of D tier team.
Wow, that was a good bait, by the way. I thought you were gonna say A tier.
I will go for middle of. I will go for like in front of Billy on C.
In front of Billy, above Na'Vi and Wolves and Lau with
Well,
an
they're not above
EG.
Wolves.
I think you top of C tier folks are smoking it. What? Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
every
they
year
should
I
be
hear
in
the
B
same
tier. You
shit.
guys are crazy.
Every year I hear the same shit. RRQ are gonna do really well. They go into matches. They
Yes,
lose a
yes,
lot of
but-
matches. They
no,
get
no, but-
upset wins against occasional good teams. But
But-
you look at their win record and it's just a page of red. It's like so frequent that they have these.
But do they get better every time I say that they're gonna be good?
Nope.
They do get better. No,
You
they
say
do
it
get
so
better.
often though, Chobra. It's like they go up and down, and you're just taking the up.
There are some patches of green in there.
Yeah,
to be
there's a bit
honest,
of
it's,
green, yeah.
but there's as
Go-
much
go
red as
green.
there is green.
Yeah, but also they've had to play Gen.G like 4 times this year and Paper X 2 times. Like, it's not
Yeah.
exactly the most fair record.
But when
records
I'm
page.
when I'm watching them play, right? When I'm just looking at the quality of their play, I don't think that it's. Can we pull up the tier list again so that I can think of a like-to-like comparison? I don't think that they're gonna achieve good gameplay in the same way that we're expecting from like Simpreza or DRX. I think they're a full tier at least below
But
that.
what about
what we said.
Trace?
Yeah, I think that they're.
You said top of
Trace?
D. You've lost.
No, I know. I'm working my way down.
Go on.
I
keep
think
going.
that I also think that right. You're bringing up Trace because they just recently beat Trace.
No,
But in terms of-
I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just talking about what? Dude, I ain't some crazy cherry picker. I'll live with the Reds on RQ's page.
I
But
think
I just think stylistically, I think RQ. Yeah, I don't think Trace is like absolutely ahead of them. I just think they've proven it. I think they've proven it once, whereas RQ unfortunately hasn't. But
I'm looking at the teams in the C tier, and I can get on board with them being a middle of the pack C tier team. But I definitely feel worse about RRQ than I do about Billy, about Giants. I think about Na'Vi, but I'm not sure about Na'Vi. The problem with I feel worse about them than I do about Wolves. I genuinely want Wolves above RRQ.
them-
Genuinely.
Put him behind EG then, because EG are good.
Yeah, this is
everyone's just taking turns knocking them down 2 notches every time. What the
Yeah,
I
now that
agree.
I think about
I
it.
agree. I think this is where they
Liquid
should be.
BBL.
Where Choba, where would you actually put them on just your list?
Okay, without the insane hype that I always have for them, I would put them. I would put them somewhere near Trace, above or below.
Right. And
Okay.
I think that's not the craziest take you've ever had, but it's
Yeah.
definitely still very high up.
And I said I would knock you down 1 tier. So that
Wait,
kind of
hold
works out
on. Then I should hold on. Then I should have the excitement as well. Hold on, that's not fair.
put him behind EG. I think that's honestly fine, unless Team B's got anything to add.
No, I'm fine with that.
Do you think that they're around the same point as DFM?
Listen, as excited as I am for DFM, I have more faith that RQ will improve, like overall more stability throughout the year than DFM.
I can
But I guess
understand that
DFM is a
because
brand new roster, so like we don't really know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can understand that, but I'm not excited about the RRQ. I suppose here's the
But
thing
no
that
one
I'm
was
missing.
excited for G2 this year, and they did completely fine. You know what I mean? Like the excitement. I agree. By the way, I agree that
Hey,
RQ
you wouldn't
is
have
not
been
an
excited for
exciting
Gen.G this
team.
time last year.
That's true.
Yeah, in fact, I was very disappointed in Gen.G, and now
also-
I look like a fool.
But Gen.G last year at least were a like new roster. They'd put together a different pieces, and there was some level of like unexpected volatility with them. Whereas I don't even see that from RRQ. Like, where's
But,
the upside?
No,
That's what I'm trying to
RRQ's
get.
volatility is within themselves.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's where it comes from. They do perform like crazy good every so often, and then the other times they're kind of mid. You know, like that's just who they are, which is why they're like a middle of the pack C tier team, because that's what the middle of the C tier is. That's why Wolves don't belong there. But that's what it is. If you look at those teams, like I'm expecting for Loud, EG, RQ, DFM, like some weeks, you catch them on a bad week, you're gonna lose to that team because they're gonna turn up, right? And then other weeks, they're gonna be like, not so
Okay.
great, and you're gonna beat them.
Okay, all right. Let's talk T1. So the recent winners of the Red Bull home ground, which we're definitely not paying any attention to, of course. We're discounting all of the off-season events. They do have a good roster though, and it's functional, right? At least if you're going to take anything away from the Red Bull home ground, the system works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say more than the system. I would say that okay, these players have enough chemistry that they can all perform at their best pretty consistently.
I would like to throw in that I actually feel better about this team than I do about Paper Rex.
Okay.
I think that I don't want to put them in the S tier though. I don't think it would be fair to put this team in the S tier at the moment. I think that they're like the cores and the pieces and the people that they put together. It's really only Meteor that I think you could say has been like, consistently in that level. Maybe you could argue for Stacks and Buzz a bit when they were getting like, top 3 at champs and stuff. But the majority of what they've been doing has been like just outside of the S tier, probably across Stacks and Buzz's career. I would like to put them at the top of the A tier, T1.
Above or man, but I
don't care if you put them
they're
below
S
Paper
tier,
Rex.
man.
I don't really give a shit.
I think they're
Put them below Paper Rex. Put them above Paper X.
Are we really? We're not feeling an S on this because, like, my
I
way
feel
of
an S.
my way of viewing S tier is should they be looking to win an event, and T1 should be looking to win an event.
Yeah, should they look to win
100%.
an event? Yes.
Well,
Paper
then-
Rex
no,
should
not-
also be looking to win an event. Do
Yeah, that's why
I
they-
look at
that's why
them
they-
and think they're going to win an event?
Do you actually not?
I don't think T1 will win an event. No.
Okay, we got
What-
the line.
okay, but
for
how
the-
much of
for
that
the
is
clip,
because
we'll get.
how much how much of that is because you're scarred versus you're just not seeing it yet?
I would say I feel like there are too many like Buzz, I think, can be a little up and down. Right? He can have moments of great and moments of not as good. I think Itsu can definitely be very up and down. You don't agree with that? You haven't been watching.
I'll give you easy. Yeah.
Izu I will give.
Buzz
Izu I
has
will
been
give.
up and down. He has moments
no.
of being a
Mostly up.
top
No,
3
man,
duelist, and he has
that's-
moments of not being.
Yeah,
but
when he
top
doesn't
20
have an op.
player. Yeah, but he's also not like
Don't buy it up every round.
Buzz has never played like a duelist who is trying to vie for top 3 duelist individually. Right? His continuous growth over the course of his career from all the way back.
I'm not saying he's
from
shit.
C9 career.
I'm arguing for
no,
top of A tier. Top of A tier. This is a good team.
I'm agreeing. I think I'm
think-
right there with TMV at the moment. I
Sure.
want to see more from T1 before I'm ready to say that there should be.
I think
in
they're
the argument to
2022
win an event.
DRX.
Flip
I-
that coin.
But actually, they
Surely
should be
flip
ST if
that
was
coin.
it, but-
Yeah,
we're
let's
Go on,
flip
flip
the
a coin.
then.
Go on. Heads S again, I guess.
Yeah, heads S,
Yeah.
Yep.
tails A.
It's so freaking rigged.
Wonderful. Love the tails. Never fails.
I would
So-
put them above Paper X.
Above Paper X, then, if we're arguing for S tier, the others, I assume you must
Yeah,
also
sure.
want to put them above Paper X.
Well, they also wanted a coin for Paper X.
Yeah,
They
well,
did,
we
yeah.
wanted paper X.
Oh well, that's true. Yeah, if you both wanted Paper X and S tier, how would you have ordered those teams?
I would put them at the end, and then I would have put T1. Honestly, I would have put T1 behind Paper X.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
because
I
of
would've.
patch.
Just based on
Yeah.
right, just because of the
Yeah,
patch, not
that's
based
Oh,
on
so
this
the
strong.
patch, it all comes back to the patch.
Yeah, dude, it changed everything. 2 maps and
They'll
agents
change
that
it
they
all
love
back
using.
in a month.
Yeah, probably. But
Just before the
at least they
season
can maybe
starts,
win
you
a
just
run.
wait. Neon will be back.
Neon will be back.
Omen will have 5 smokes to place.
What are we doing with T1 Paper X then? TMV.
T1
what-
Put them
behind
below.
Paper X.
Put them below.
All right, okay. Let's put T1 below Paper X, which is bizarre, but all right. Talon. This is a team that isn't making any changes. Primmy's in
What's
them.
going on there? Dude, they look good with these new roles.
Yes.
Are we the only one?
Yes. No,
Yeah.
I'm absolutely
They look
I'm on
good.
board for the new roles. Primmy being the
Yes.
main duelist, Governor being the what's it called? Silver player.
Yeah, the
I'm
scan
happy with
initiator.
that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Governor and scan initiator looks to bring so much more stability for the team and also himself. So I do
It's-
think Premi needs a bit more time, right, to really play to his fullest potential in a team level. But I think he can get there if they allow him to just stick with that role.
Yeah, I think it's important that they keep some level of consistency with what he's doing for him to really achieve it. I think this should be an A tier team.
Ooh. See, my debate was like, is this low A or high B?
Yeah, and I think that's fair because I was
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
they're at the bottom of the
Okay.
A tier for me.
Yeah, I would put them above Foot personally.
Above Foot. I don't really agree with that. I think the player quality on Foot is going to win out a lot of the time in a match between the two there. But I do think that I really rate some of the like fast exec set strat stuff that Talon put together that I think can really shake teams. Foot are also a weird team. I think we've got like some weird teams there at the bottom of the A tier.
Oh yeah.
That definitely
If the
those are
map pool
like
does change a lot though, and Talon cook up some shit, and they are willing to cook up some shit, I think they could definitely. Anytime the map pool changes, they'll be winning games.
The problem is sometimes it does look shit. Like,
That is true as well.
that's
It
the
does look
issue as
shit
well.
sometimes, but that's
Yeah.
why. Well, yeah, that's why in my head I was kind of thinking first high B tier, but I'm happy. I'm happy with low A. I would put them below Foot, but I don't give again. Who cares?
Yeah, I'll concede low A below Foot. I'll go with that.
all right.
Sure.
Okay. That was fairly reasonable, actually. I feel like Talon are
Yeah.
quite a polarizing team, but maybe that'll be contentious with the viewers and not with us.
Right.
Team Secret, then. So this is another team that hasn't. I don't think they haven't made
Zero
any changes,
changes.
have they? Yeah.
Yeah, 0 changes.
I really liked what they were doing at the end of the year, and then they lost to Talon, and I was like, oh, what
Did
the
the
fuck have you
classic
done?
Team Secret choke. As soon as you're just about to qualify, you just fucking lose straight away and die.
Yeah, and whereas you would expect Talon to actually get better from that position, right? Because they're going to spend more time with Primi, the roles now look better, that kind of stuff. I can't really say that I have the same hopes for improvement for Team Secret. Like, I think the level that they were playing at was pretty decent, but I don't think they're going to become an A-tier team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
They're a
biggest
B tier team.
problem with this team is that I feel like we've now given Jeremy enough chances to try to break his ceiling, and he just hasn't. Like, he's very good, and he has peaks, but like not consistently enough, and that worries me, right? Like, Envy's obviously goated. I think Wild Oreo is actually maybe even going to get better. So like those two can still carry the team far enough, but if you're like to try to break into the top tiers, if your duelist isn't like always in a discussion for how strong they are, whether it's as a team or as an individual, I think that's rough.
Didn't he have moments last year though of being
No,
insane?
he does, and I think I was excited for that because I was waiting to see that. I think he was also willing to take more risks to try to prove himself. But to me, it was like literally he was Team Secret Incarnate, where the matches that mattered, he would just fumble it so hard, right? Like he's fallen off the map, he's not buying his updraft. Like,
Dude, that was
like-
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, dude, but that's insane. Like that's one of the most important maps you're playing of your career the whole year. Like if he's not able to get over that hump, and it's been 2 years, so like I don't think you have the excuse anymore of like, well, you know, he needs to grow into it. So
Some people are just serial chokers. It's tough for
Yeah,
us
yeah.
out there. Any level
Right,
of
and
pressure,
it's-
we
Yeah,
crumble.
and you want T1 and S tier.
I never argued for T1 and S
Oh,
tier. What are
you,
you talking
Jobra.
about? Oh, Jobra.
What the hell?
Team Secret.
They're a B tier team. I would say like a
yeah.
low-ish B tier team.
Okay, if we're putting them in B, they got to go at the end here.
Yeah.
I would kind of argue for that. Yeah. Because they're the
I-
team. They're actually the perfect cutoff team of like if you're above them, like international tournaments. Are you
Actually, they are literally
because they're the team
gatekeeper
that gets
team.
the closest,
Yeah.
but can't do it.
In fact, you could put them in any region. I think they'd be the gatekeeper team.
I think I think they should be above C9, and I think they. I think
I
there's
think
an argument
Carmine
for
Core are
them in
looking
the
like
middle.
frauds. To be
Yeah,
honest,
they
in
are.
there.
They're looking a bit
They are
fraudulent
looking
in the
like
middle of B tier right now, aren't they? But I think Secret should be more like the middle, like where Simpriza are.
Damn.
I think their
dude,
I think their general level of play is pretty good.
It is good.
It is. That's why they're in the B tier.
Yeah, but to put them in the bottom of the B tier implies that like. Are you
Why don't we
expecting
put them in the B
Cloud9's
tier?
average level of
Put
play to be
Carmine
as
Core
good?
at the bottom of the B tier, and then you won't feel so bad.
Oh, stop moving Carmine Corp around.
You admitted they were frauds.
They're looking fraudulent because we're thinking of their off-season results. All of us were excited about the roster when it was announced and the prospect of Sadak working with Eng. Keep the faith, little boy. Keep the faith.
Okay.
I
This looks
think,
fine,
though,
yeah.
we might be underrating Secret a bit compared
Really?
to... Because this implies that there's like a bit of a gap between DRX and Nongshim and Secret, and I don't think there is. It's just that DRX and Nongshim have like more volatility and
yes,
upward
but that's
potential.
what gets you over that hump. Is my opinion. I
Yeah,
think
that might
Team
be the
Secret-
difference
yeah,
in
what-
winning that game to
Yes.
qualify for an international.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they
exactly.
could
If you
also
have a
be
whole
worse.
year, sure.
Like
but you only
especially
need to-
Simpriza. I think they could be worse than Secret.
I mean, listen,
over
all I'm
consistently.
saying is
should've been
you've got
way too.
teams like Talon where they mastermind their way around the bracket to literally just have to beat Secret, right? So like if you can maneuver that, like, and Secret can't win that, then it's a problem.
They were circling Secret. They were like, we want them.
Dude, Cloud9 have really gotten fortunate with the timing of this tier list. Is all I'm saying
Yes,
as well.
they have.
They're looking
Yes.
pretty up here. All right, the final team, Zeta Division.
Where's
Now,
Wyatt when you need him?
Wyatt was gassing this team up last year, but his main thought process was they made like top 4 the year before, and then they made 2 upgrades. Now this team has definitely made upgrades this year. Like this
Yes.
time, it's
Surely,
actually so
yeah.
true. It's
That
so
is
true.
true.
It can't be
Wow.
wrong 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's true.
No way.
But how big are the upgrades is the question.
Well, I mean, wait,
They
compared
also
to last
lost
year or the
last.
year before?
To last year, because it's
would
definitely
say
an
compare
upgrade,
it
but
To last year, I mean, let's be real. You don't need you. We could be saying they could have brought in anyone, and we might have been like, "Oh, it's an upgrade."
Jesus. I think the main thing as well for me is like the coaching staff has changed a
Yeah.
good amount. That's
Yeah.
always a good sign. We've shortened that down a little bit. I think XQQ back is good.
Yeah.
You don't believe Trevor, do you?
I did. I'm a little. I mean, maybe the break would have done him good, but I think XQQ was part of the pieces that wasn't adapting very well towards the end before he took a break, right? So, like, I don't know how he's feeling now about it. He's also not the head coach, but obviously he'll be the one calling the timeouts for language barrier. So, I don't know.
I feel quite good about Zeta. I would put them very similar to Secret, but I would also have put Secret a bit higher. So I'm thinking like, bottom B tier kind of team, maybe top C tier kind of team. That's roughly where I'm thinking. I feel like this team's going to be pretty good. Maybe the problem is the top of the C tier. I'm arguing sometimes when I'm looking at it, might be better than the bottom of the B tier. I'm like, the edges of our tiers are.
But, so do you think they're going to be
difficult.
better than DFM, the other Japanese team?
I think over the course of
Yes,
the
I
year, they
think
will be
so.
better than
I
DFM
think
over the
so.
course of the year.
Mhm.
I do think so.
I think they're going to be better than RIQ as well. I feel. I
Trevor,
feel
don't
quite
speak.
good
Don't speak.
No,
I'd put him in the C tier personally. Maybe a bit higher in the C tier, but
Yeah,
that's where I'd put him.
I would put them in C as well.
I think that's reasonable.
I think RRQ would beat them.
yeah.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
This RIQ
So he's
team
just
is
saying this
going
because he knows
nowhere.
I can't pull them up any higher, so he's throwing me a bone. I can feel it.
There you go. Just have one. You needed a win today.
It's fair enough, honestly. They are similar level kind of teams.
What
I
a
feel
level.
I think we've done China dirty. I think this XLG
Yes.
team is better than we're giving them credit for.
Yeah, sure.
But I also think that the rest of the teams aren't really that much better than we're giving them
I was going
credit
to say,
for.
that's the team you went for? Okay.
Yeah, out of all of the teams at the bottom there, I think XLG is the one that has the most like upwards potential. Maybe Tech as well has a bit of upwards potential. I actually think that DRG, if they get their shit together, might be a bit better as well. Their shit has been all over the place.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that, but I'm just wondering. So then, if we bring up DRG, let's say, right, then it's still just China and F tier. Like
It
you
really is.
you don't think anyone else in the D tier could be
I'm
beaten by
inclined.
some of these?
I'm inclined to drop Apex
Yeah.
down to the F tier because I don't
They've
even
got
know
4
who their
players.
5th player is, and
Sure.
the 4
Boom.
players
Like, I
they
think-
have don't look that great.
I think Boom and
Sure.
Apex down and Fury and DRG up is
Not
a
Fury.
reasonable trend. But Fury and
Boom
DRG have to
down
go
there,
together
sure.
because they're battling each other, right?
I
Got
do
the-
think. See, I would have.
Yeah, you have to have Furia and
above
DRG
Boom.
next to each other though. So
Yeah, they have to face
like
each
a
other. so
dragon versus lion.
Okay, get JDG and Nova down into the F tier as well. If Apex are in the F tier, then JDG and Nova have to be. Because I think Apex would be both of those
JDG?
teams.
Dude,
Yes,
I think
I-
JGG has got potential to not be
Yeah,
F,
I agree.
which is, by the way, a
Really?
very low
That's not
bar.
that
Like,
bad.
They're not
The
that bad, but
potential
they're just not doing much.
I'd put Boom down there. Get Boom down there, Kurt.
I love
I think
Boom,
I'm,
and
I think
yeah,
I'm
but
okay with that.
yeah, I'm
One of the-
okay with that. It's
one of the
unfortunate, but I'm
problems
okay
with-
with that.
With us quabbling around here is anybody who's a fan of these teams or anyone who's on these teams fucking hates us anyway for putting them in D or F tier. And so it doesn't actually matter whether they're in D or F
So
tier.
you're saying
'cause-
we empty the D tier and put them all in F, and we say there's a massive tier gap between C and these teams.
Wait, we're
Also,
not gonna move
did
DRG
you
up?
argue for Apex being in F tier, Sideshow?
yeah, because they don't have
Yeah,
5
because you hate
players.
women.
That's not the reason. If they announce their 5th player and it's a decent 5th player, then they should be in the D tier, I reckon. But the problem is, I actually advocated for Apex to be in F when we had Furia in F. And now that you've moved Furia up, now it seems silly to have Apex in the F tier.
Yeah, so put Furia back down. Yeah, you have them
I think
face
at least-
DRG
at
'cause it
at
looks
least
cool.
over Boom. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I think
Sure.
probably
We think
over
8
Apex as
teams
well.
in the world are F tier.
Also, can we fix this C tier being 2 things? Can we just
No,
move?
dude, because if anything, we move people up. Because Koi should
Yeah. I
probably
think
be on
C
the end.
had being
Yeah,
bulky.
but-
Yeah, I think
is-
Koi
Can't
should
you
be
move
on the C
Liquid
tier.
down, Slicky?
Why are they running in astray? That's crazy. I think they should be up as well. To A tier.
So we move Wolves and Liquid up, and then C
Yeah.
becomes 1.
I think Wolves, Liquid, and RRQ should be maybe high A tier.
Yeah, you know what? That sounds reasonable.
3
I'm
of us
so
say yes.
lost right now. What are we doing?
I think.
I think
Calm
Calming
good?
Core should be lower in B tier.
I think
agree.
Dragon
I
Range
really
are getting
believe that.
overrated at the moment. I think
Dude, you're talking
Yes.
about an F tier team.
I know.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. You're
There's
just beating them when
only
they're
5
down.
teams below them.
That's
It's just-
ridiculous.
DRG again overrated as
you
a
think about it,
mid F tier team.
That's
Dude,
insane.
if you look at our Chinese rankings, though, if you implicitly look at where we've ranked them, this is like
Does it matter?
we've ranked them as like the 7th best team in China, and they're in the F tier,
They did.
something like that, or maybe the 6th best. I can't even do maths. Are they?
Overrated.
Yeah,
Oh, it's crazy.
They
Yeah.
stick out like a
Oh, no,
sore
that would be
thumb
the
there in
8th.
mid F tier.
that would be the 8th. All right, fair enough. Maybe they're not overrated, but I think there's a lot that's wrong with this, but I don't think many people could do much better.
I think Carmen
agree.
Court needs to
I thought you were
going
gonna
to
say, I don't think anyone
No, no,
would
guys,
care.
I think K-Cop's okay
No
here.
one gives a shit.
I mean,
I
that's
think-
true as well.
I think K-Cop moving them down is just because of the off-season one
Yeah, I
map.
know, but I can't get.
Well, not like a
Cloud9
whole
in
tier.
there.
I
You
just
can't
mean.
get out of your
I just
head.
mean the order.
Yeah.
I just mean the order. But
Okay.
Then again, they're only
How-
bad
how
at
far
one map,
down?
so
How
far
far
as we
down?
know.
No, don't move them, don't move them, don't move
Yeah,
them.
I think
if
we keep
anything,
on.
if anything, move Nongshim down. They're neon
shut
abusers. Neon abusers. The meta's about to change.
Comic
Move
Core
them
aren't going
down.
up from this position.
I've literally watched them the whole year. They're not neon abusers. That's the craziest thing. This is just
This guy loves
people-
Korean Valorant.
Okay, to be
Listen,
fair,
by the way, I
haven't.
hate Korean Valorant, but
To be fair,
but-
yeah, I definitely haven't watched them prior to the neon.
yeah,
meta.
the thing is like it's to the point where at Ascension Pacific, I was shocked that people thought that was like well, they're good, but we'd be surprised if they won, like within the like overall analysis pool and things like that. I was like, dude, if you've watched them play, like they know how to manipulate teams and how to react. They're very good at reacting, and that I think counts for a lot.
Yeah, they haven't lost a
Yeah.
series since Persia joined the team,
Yes.
There you go.
and he's averaged like a
S tier.
1.2 rating the
That-
entire time or something.
Haven't they good? The only team that I'm like I think we did a little bit dirty is honestly Global could be the end of C.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because
Yeah,
I
when they
also
see
believe
too
in the
big.
potential. It's such an unknown to me. but
What we should really be doing is we should be moving everyone from EG onwards, so RRQ onwards, down into the D tier. Because
Chober would
because
die if you put
every
RRQ into
time,
the D.
every single time we think about moving a team further up, we always hit EG and then we're like, nah, we can't move them any bigger than that. Like EG is actually a good squad. So that implies a tier gap.
Interesting.
But I would say EG
Ooh,
gets.
You've moved
to,
BBL to F.
what is going on?
Damn, this is
If Sliggy
What?
signs off though with Team Liquid and D tier,
No,
yeah,
but
this is my
here's
contract
the
done.
thing.
yeah, his
Dude,
contract's over.
I think EG is a team where I
And the
think they
payments are going
deserve
to
the
stop
spot.
for Chober too.
We could move RRQ up to appease Chobra, like Neville Chamberlain.
Hold on.
And-
this
And what Liquid up
this
for
is a
Sliggy.
smart move.
And then
Sideshow,
Wolves
I
up
see
for
And
what you're
now,
trying to do here.
now everything's a single line. It all
Hold
looks
on.
aesthetic.
Do I risk selling my soul for RQ to get hated by Japanese fans? Give me 1 second here. let me sort this out.
Hold on, calculations need
Because
to
I think this is roughly where the tier gap is between C and D. Because the C tier has like a lot of teams.
Wait, what the
that
fuck are you
have-
talking about? Right, RRQ are definitely at least C tier. Like definitely.
No.
Like shut up.
You're crazy.
They are good enough. Like a D tier team to me is like someone that even on their best days, like a D tier team against like a top, high A S tier team, like they aren't beating them. Like they can't. They don't have it in them to beat them, right? Whereas RRQ definitely have it in them to beat on their best day a high A tier or an S tier team.
Show me the tier list again. Where would that cutoff be then? So which of these teams could not beat a
An
tier
A
1
tier?
team on their best day?
Probably back where we had it with Gentlemen.
No, I think it. No, I think
No, I would say GE couldn't either. I would say, I mean, like BBL could, but I wouldn't rely on it being like it can happen every so often. It'd be like a once a year thing, in my opinion.
Dude, DFM could.
Yeah, DFM definitely could. I'm not.
DFM, yeah, this new roster of
I
DFM
have doubts
could, I
about
think
Zeta
so.
Division.
This makes
The-
me want
the
to put
thing
DFM
is I think-
and BBL up one and leave everybody
I
down.
do think
I
we're
don't
all
think
getting
BBL should go
Zeta
up
and
one.
DFM skewed just because of their offseason performances so far, which is obviously
Yeah,
a
but-
very small sample size.
I think we're overthinking it, and we should just send it.
Jesus.
Oh,
Like he's gonna
Everybody
Do you want-
direct all
costing a man his job.
Do you want it to go back to where it was? We can
You crush his dreams like that.
we can press the undo button. We can just go back to where it was before.
No,
if people are happy with
don't
that.
give a shit. Do it. I lost all faith in this when Kurt fucking trolled me.
Wolves are not in a troll spot.
Wolves
right
are
now.
better than BLG.
I agree with that. I think we should swap Wolves and Billy.
There you go.
Okay.
I also think that
Wolves are better than FPX. Nice. Move on.
I think
Navi might be
DRX
a bit high rated here. I think
should be
Navi
higher.
should
Too
go down a
high?
slot. Yeah, I don't know what to think about Navi. I think
Shao
they're
is
going to be a
still
pretty
good.
decent team. I think they're going to be a pretty decent team, but I think Wolves and Billy are genuinely going to be like scary teams to play against. If you go to an international event and you're playing against Wolves or Billy, you're like, oh shit, we're about to get upset.
what am I not seeing here with Billy? Like, I get it for Wolves. What am I
Yeah.
not getting for Billy? Like, I
Okay,
don't understand this
well,
hype for Billy.
let's-
And I
let's even
love
look,
Billy
I don't give a
but,
shit
like,
about
The
Billy
old
Billy
roster
either,
of
so-
Billy Billy. The old roster of Billy
Well,
Billy was getting some of the biggest upsets that we've ever seen at international events. And this version of Billy Billy's better.
Dude, Zeta was getting upsets back there in their old roster,
Ooh,
and it was
so put-
worse than their current roster.
Don't ever speak bad on that Zeta Division run ever again.
Well, Laz was
Is it
very
worse?
good, but
Yeah, exactly. I don't know
Yeah.
about that if it was worse, but
okay, but
yeah,
I would say it's
Laz is an incredible
comparable.
team.
Like, there's peaks of individuals, but like, yeah, like, case in point, you're saying Billy's always getting upsets when you least expect it.
Yes, I think
So,
they're an
like,
upset team.
Look,
That's
I think
why
we
they're
spent
that's why
enough
they're in
time
this
doing
tier.
this, to be honest. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
completely.
You want to send it?
I think we have to send it.
Sorry,
here.
Sliggy.
Ah, let's send
I'll
it.
find a new job, I guess.
I completely agree. Crew is so underrated.
Yeah, I put him
maybe
up.
Cruise.
Might be-
I'm
might
not
be a bit
making any
underrated.
decisions. I don't want to be responsible for anything. I just wanted to say that.
They might be getting underrated, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Post a comment with who you thought had the worst takes and who ruined the tier list the most. If you think that
You don't want to play that game, Sideshow.
I know. I think it might be
That's
me. I think it
crazy.
might be me. I think a lot of people are going to think that one of us is completely fucked.
Well, the
this.
Paper Rex fans are gonna come after us heavy.
Still at the top of A tier. Get a fucking grip. Your team's never won anything. Come back when they have a trophy. like, you
We
can't
just
be that
doubled down?
angry. You
That's
can't be that mad
fair.
about it. Anyway,
Wow.
anyway. Give us a comment as to who had the most unreasonable take.
I think you
say
might have just
after
got it
that.
there.
Timestamp it if you can. And I think that's done it for us, right? Have we just got Wyatt's weekly award coming up? Yeah, I think so. All right, let's go for
Do
it.
it.
Wyatt's weekly award.
Oh, I didn't see you there. It's time for Wyatt's Weekly Award. And dinner.
Chili.
Imagine if it was noodles. Oh,
There's our document leak.
Dude, I spoiled it.
Well, actually, I think in the document it says you'll need to come up with one. But thankfully, I have come up with one, and I think it was actually quite an easy one, to be honest. I think Rossi deserves this enormously. I think that the one of the biggest difference makers was not just his calling, but also his performance. He was the top-rated player of the event, I believe. Even if you took out the semi-final where he beat the piss and shit out of G2, he was still the top 4-rated player, like the 4th best player, even without his best game. So he still performed extremely well. And I think the stocks that people are building in C9 off this tournament are, broadly speaking, going to be because they have stocks in Rossi making this team a lot better than, Vanity had made the team from the year before. So I'm going to give it to Rossi here. I think he deserves it. Plus 22 in the game against Leaf and Jogamo. Like that's nasty.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
The tournament that's going on that we might be recapping next week is the Radiant Valorant Invitational. Obviously, there were some results that we could have talked about already this week, but we've been going for like 3 hours. So we'll catch you with that. Are you going to be co-streaming it, Sliggy, TMV, Chobra?
Yeah,
I'm probably not, but we'll see.
Okay,
in a couple of days, in 2 days.
in a couple of days.
Oh, and the 100 Thieves playing tomorrow night.
Are they? Who are they
Yeah,
playing against?
100 Thieves are playing in the
trust in plug.
the SOAR tournament.
Yeah, me when that Plat chat fan sent us the butt plug.
And then they're playing. Oh no, TSM washed.
Right.
Games,
Okay.
yeah.
What is this tournament?
It's just a standalone, I think. It's like
Oh, right.
15k or something prize pool.
And it just has 4 teams in it.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because they played
Two-
through a qualifier.
2 invites, 2 qualifiers.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. So we'll get an opportunity to have a look at 100 Thieves with Xander playing. That does it for us then. Episode 196 and your way too early tier list. Please go and get angry now. Now is your time. Goodbye.